Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WWJD on Franchise Sports Media. I'm Joe Arrigo, and this is our Backyard Boogie edition. When I mean by Backyard Boogie, I have some friends joining me. I'm in an undisclosed area in the backyard. We were grilling out, so we're gonna have a good time with it. Joining me first is a man that's been with me since my days with 24/7 Inside the Rebels. A guy who's been an editor, but more importantly, he's a brother to me. He's an editor here at Franchise Sports Media, covers UNLV, covers the NBA, UNLV basketball. That's Jeff Waterlove. Also, what's up, brother?
Did you say Backyard Boogie?
You know damn well I did. Joining me as well is our lead Raiders writer, new title for him. He's a guy that I rock with heavy, and I think I talked to him more in the last month and a half than I have my own girlfriend, and I live with her. Go figure. He's a guy that's put out some great articles on Franchise Sports Media. He is the voice of reason amongst Raider Nation. That's my guy, Ruse. What's going on with you, partner?
Not much. How's everybody doing today?
What up, Ruse?
Living, bro. Join me as well is our draft analyst, my partner in crime for the draft. He also is covering the Raiders for us. He just got done with finals because he's a genius. And he's been MIA for a while from Raider Nation, but he's also one of the best football guys I know, even though he's got a shitty taste in NBA teams. That's Chris Sproul.
What's up, brother? What is up? Good to be back. Glad I'm done with school. Let's get this thing going.
And join us as well is a guy who I've known for a few years now. When it comes to talking football, I respect his opinion immensely. And plus, I needed to bring somebody in to have my back because I'm tired of being lambasted by all you bastards that want to talk about my Packer fandom. He writes for 24/7's Packer Report, and he's got some more good stuff on the way. Also one of the hosts of the Pulse of the Pack. That's my guy, Jacob Westendorf. What's up, Big Jake?
How's it going, guys? It's good to be here. Yeah, take all the heat off of Joe and bring it to me. But as I mentioned in the pre-show, I don't remember the last time the Raiders beat the Packers, so it's been a really long time.
He's already coming with it today. Oh, my Lord. Raider Nation, don't kill him. You guys can get at us on all social media at The Franchise LV. Hit us directly. You can see mine running my name on Twitter at Joe Arrigo, at Jeff Waterlove, at King Ruse, at Chris Roll, but he won't let you follow him. And Jacob, it's go ahead and say yours because I don't want to mess it up.
That's okay. It's at Jacob Westendorf. It's just my name, although apparently spelling my last name is a hard thing to do. So no, to anybody asking, I am not Derek Carr's little brother.
No guy liner.
Guys, Gus and Sean already bringing the heat. You guys make sure you follow us on YouTube, Periscope, Facebook. You can interact. The comment section is open. No phone lines today, but it's 6 o'clock on Sunday. And I wanted to do the show today because, quite frankly, the last 5 weeks, I was doing something else. I think we all were, and I was watching The Last Dance. I'm having Last Dance withdrawals. I don't know if I'm the only one or not. I thought it was the best ESPN doc that was there, even better than the OJ doc, which I thought was well done. It brought back a lot of memories of my childhood. And quite frankly, you've seen a Michael Jordan, a side of him that I think humanized him and made him even more popular. What do you think, Jeff?
Prior to this, the best basketball documentary that I'd watched was The Best of Enemies. And that's the Lakers and Celtics rivalry back in the 80s. And I feel like this trumped even that. Listen, if you didn't watch basketball in the late 80s, early 90s, coming up into even the 2000s, you didn't know like the fervent nature of Jordan and his competitiveness. We get into the GOAT debates a lot on Twitter and social media, this and that. And obviously it's, LeBron, Kobe, those are the next in line. But in terms of skill and the attitude and the drive, that's what we saw in The Last Dance. And that's why Jordan's never going to be matched ever again.
One of the things that I thought was interesting about The Last Dance, and you kind of touched on it, is I don't think a younger generation seen what Michael Jordan was. They didn't realize how they hear, oh, he's the greatest of all time, and they jump in that hyperbole. It's almost like somebody says it and all these other people say it. So, damn, it must be true. But what I've seen was a lot of young players, even young guys that are in the NBA and guys that just hoop in general, they're like, yo, like he was better than what we even thought he was. And when you have a guy like Kobe, God rest his soul, say, hey, there's no me without Michael, like, because I wouldn't have been able to do what I did because of him. When you have the greats of today, and even the greats that played with and even before Michael Jordan, say, this guy's just different, it really opens your eyes. And then people seen how explosive and how athletic he was. Ruse, you're rocking a Jordan shirt. I know most of your gear is Jordan gear. What was your impression of the way Jordan was perceived, not just prior to The Last Dance, but also by the people after and during The Last Dance?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me is I'm a full-fledged Laker fan. Like, I don't really like any other team. There's certain players of other teams that I've always liked along the way that I just respect. I've never really been a Jordan guy, but ironically, I always wear Jordan shoes, Jordan shirts, hoodies. And the reason why is because that logo is synonymous with excellence. You know, it's the personification of greatness. So it's like an intangible with the brand. You know, he's not just an athlete, he's a brand. But as far as the show, I thought it was pretty good. Like you said, it was pretty nostalgic to me. Growing up in the 80s, 90s, watching him come up from day one was definitely took me back, you know, to when I was younger. I thought it was pretty good. My favorite part of the whole thing was the cinematography and the way it was shot. For back then, they didn't have HD cameras, but you notice the quality was really good because I believe they shot it on film. When you shoot it on film, you can convert it to HD pretty good. But that to me was the biggest thing. One thing that people need to keep in mind is that it was basically Jordan's documentary, so he had final edit over everything. So if there was something he didn't want you to know, you know, it wasn't going to come out in the documentary. But I think it was really well done. I think it was, you know, like Jeff said, it was a pretty excellent documentary. So.
Okay, so I'm going to go to Jake real quick with this. Not real quick. I'm going to go to Jake before I go to Chris, just because Jake is from Illinois. So Jake grew up in that era. He grew up around that time. He was around up until Jordan's second retirement. And then his dad made such a wise decision, but he chose such a bad team to root for. so Jake, right. You're in Illinois, and I don't think there's any sports figure in the history of that state. Maybe even not even just sports figure, even person in general in that state that is bigger or is more, I don't say more important, but more famous than Michael Jordan. What was it like in that era, and what did you think of it?
Maybe Walter Payton to answer that, but I don't even think that approaches the same thing as it did with Michael Jordan, because basketball, it's so much. I mean, football, guys have helmets. There's 11 players on the field. They don't play both ends of the field. They play in basketball. They play the entire game. And you could see, I mean, basically the way I said it after the last episode, and everybody knows the picture, Jordan gently brushes Brian Russell off. Some call it a push.
He didn't push him.
Some call it a push. Some other call it. But then he sits there. The push and the pose is what I call it. So he's standing there posing, and you can see every single person in the crowd rooting for Utah. And it's just this look of fear and this look of like
despair.
They just know it's over. It's done. And I was trying to think earlier when you told me we were going to talk about this, like the last 45 seconds of that game, is there a better sequence for an athlete ever? Because he gets the layup to pull Chicago within one.
Yeah,
steals the ball.
4 seconds. Yeah,
steals the ball from Karl Malone, then comes down and makes the shot. And then the Bulls win their 6th title as his last game that matters, because we're not going to talk about the Wizard stuff because that just makes me sad. But
yeah, that's just whatever. I agree.
Right. And almost like it didn't even count. Like I don't even talk about it as anything. But no, I mean, you're right. Jordan is like, and still, I mean, people go to the United Center. We're still talking about Michael Jordan and those Bulls. And even when they had that brief little sabbatical with Derrick Rose and that team that was okay. But I think every Bulls fan that watched that team knew that when LeBron and the Heat came in, that was not going to end well. And with Jordan, they always knew. And it didn't matter who they played, what they were up against, anything like that. It was almost like a given every season. It's the Bulls are going to be in the finals. who are they going to play against, and who are they going to beat ultimately? And that's what happened. And I can understand that maybe there were some egos and that ruins a lot of things, but I don't see how you don't drive that into the ground. I'll always wonder, could the Bulls have won 7 and 8? And really, you start talking 99 against that Spurs team, 2000 against those Lakers teams. Who would have been the one to knock them off? I don't know.
I think that 2000 Lakers team would have knocked them off because you had
nobody on that team could guard Shaq.
Yeah, and really, and Kobe was becoming a monster at that point, and plus the Phil Jackson factor. Phil wasn't with those Bulls teams, which I would have found it hard to believe. But I don't think those Lakers teams, conversely, would have got to the finals without Phil because they did it in the past. Now, Chris, I know that you're a Warriors fan. And when it comes to the Warriors, I'll take my guy Cuffs the Legends Twitter handle and say this: 73-9, and they lied. I agree 100% with that. Okay, the 72, the 72-10 Bulls teams
don't mean a thing without that ring.
Exactly. But Chris, what did you think about it? I know you watched the doc, and I know you're a huge sports fan. What did you think about the docuseries?
Yeah, so I was born in '88. So that second run of the Bulls is kind of like my initiation into basketball. And the early Kobe years, when he got drafted in '96, that was kind of like my first memories of basketball. So it was definitely nostalgic for me. And it also made me miss like that '90s style basketball where you had like these competitive rivalries with these guys that stayed on teams. I kind of missed that aspect of basketball. It seems like nowadays basketball really, the individuals that are in the game are a brand, and it really has become like their own, like they are their own business. And it's more about the individual than it is the team. And that's kind of what I missed about, I felt nostalgic about it watching it, because you had those fierce rivalries. And obviously, Michael Jordan was, the biggest competitor of them all. So it was, I enjoyed it a lot. My only complaint about the whole documentary was the timeline, the fact that they kept going back and forth. I just wish they would have like carried it out from beginning to end, because it was a little confusing at times. Like, okay, we're in 97. Now we're going back to like Jordan when he was first drafted. That was my only complaint about it, but I enjoyed it.
I like that part of it. I'm going to tell you why, because I think it showed how everything in the past how it molded Jordan and put it in perspective of where the mindset came from and kind of put things in his place. Now, my big brother, and I call him my big brother, I coached football with him down in Cali, my boy Cruz Costin Sr., one of the best men I know. And I don't know how the hell he's a Celtics fan being from Tallahassee, but he says, being a C's fan, we had Reggie Lewis, Len Bias, and 2 years with Bird. Could they have handled those 90s Bulls? That's a good question. But it's because they were good in college. How many guys we see good in college that really didn't do anything in the NBA? I'm not saying that's Len Bias. Reggie Lewis tragically had the heart attack or the heart murmur, which caused him to collapse and pass away. But Bird's back started acting up like in '87. So around that time is when you kind of seen Jordan start to separate himself. And with Bird's back, it crippled him, in all honesty. It would suck because he's the greatest shooter I've ever seen in my life. No offense to Steph Curry, but you give me Larry Bird or Steph Curry for a game-winning shot or a big-time three, I'm going to take Bird every step of the way.
100%.
So, but I want to say this when it comes to what you said, Chris. Watching that series made me hate the Knicks, the Celtics, and the Pistons even more. And like honestly, it brought back me as a fan watching it as a teenager when those like I hate John Starks. Like as I got older, it's like whatever. But now it's like I watched it, I'm like, man, I hated Starks. I really hated Starks. And I really hated Reggie Miller. I respected his game, but I really hated it. So watching that for me brought back a lot of emotion and feelings. And that's why for me, when it comes to Jordan, I'm a fanboy. Like there's no other way I could describe it. God bless Tony Cardasco and Tony Dasco's, Fanboy Friday media wise, but I'm a Jordan guy. And what made Jordan and Jacob, you brought up a great point too. The last sequence of that title game, Okay. The only thing I can compare it to is Kobe's final game. Because for him to go out there and score 60 at really that fourth quarter, the last 2 minutes, take over and win the game, essentially, that's the only thing I can equate. And it's still not on that level because, one, it's the finals. Two, You've seen Jordan hit that layup. They come down and make a smart defensive play, and they come down and kind of know, like, look, I'm not going to give Jerry Sloan time to dial something up to stop me. We're going to end this bad boy, and we're going to win this game right now. That was his moment. And that was one of the things that's probably the biggest moment of Jordan's career, in my opinion.
I mean, there's so much imagery where Jordan is concerned. And, and you just talked about, Kobe and his greatness. That 60 was big, but it had no stakes attached to it. Mm-hmm. And we just were talking about it a little bit, in terms of, the pose, Jacob said it, and that's why this whole documentary was just chock full of those moments. It's Jordan coming up, switching hands. And I remember Magic saying in an interview about that, he's like, first of all, I can't believe this is happening. As I'm watching it, Jordan going down the key and doing this acrobatic move. But more than that, I can't believe it's fucking happening to us. Like, the Showtime Lakers were kind of, diminished at that point. Kareem had retired. But, that was like the quintessential passing of the torch. It's like Magic and subsequently Bird are handing off the NBA to Jordan in that moment.
And that doesn't get talked about a lot. I mean, going into that 91 finals, Magic Johnson was widely considered the greatest player ever, one of the greatest players ever, and the best player in the league at the time. And something else we didn't even mention on that Jazz game, Jordan was out there playing with a hobbled Scottie Pippen that could barely walk.
Oh, that
Dennis Rodman, who's not even going to look at the rim, and Steve Kerr. There's just not a whole lot of help out there.
One thing that should be mentioned, though, is those teams, no disrespect to Jordan and those Bulls teams, but the teams that they beat in those finals, other than that Portland team, were not very good. I mean, those Jazz teams were not.
That Seattle team was good, bro. That was probably the best team that they faced, to be honest with you. That Seattle team was
that Jordan keep from giving rings. Ewing doesn't have rings. Reggie Miller doesn't have rings.
Barkley.
Barkley. I mean, I can't remember the exact number, but like Jordan eliminated something like 20 Hall of Famers.
20. That's the right number. Yep.
Yeah, that's an obscene number. So I don't want to talk about competition because that's bullshit.
See, and this is one of the things that bothered. This is one of the things that really bothered me. This is one of the things that really bothered me, and it's maybe a sticking point. I think Steve Kerr's overrated as a player and as a coach. Like he wasn't even
as a coach.
Like he wasn't even like on the Bulls.
He was on 4 straight championship teams.
Okay. He was on 3 with the Bulls, right? And then he went to the Spurs. So he knew how to pick a team. Okay, like let's be real about this. Steve Kerr was the 7th or 8th best player on the Bulls.
No doubt.
Kukoc was had a bigger role.
Like that. And I think that's what made him such a good coach is that he can relate to all of those different players.
Does anybody think that Kerr's better than the 7th? I mean, I know that he has that game-winning shot in the 97 finals.
That's all he did.
Does anybody actually think he's good, though?
But the fact that he's on the court during that time, like in the closing seconds, who's on the court? Steve Kerr's on the court.
Because he's a shooter. They spread the
Ron Harper's knees were so bad he had to come off the court because his cold, he couldn't heat up his knees anymore. That's the only reason why Phil Jackson started. Look I'm gonna say this. Kerr's a clout chaser. How's that?
Oh jeez.
He's a clout chaser.
Well, the coach part is fine. Yeah. I'll jump in for Chris here because I know he rolled his eyes. Listen, you could call Steve Kerr overrated as a coach all you want. I didn't see them winning finals or even getting to the conference finals with Mark Jackson coaching the team.
Hey, Luke Walton led that team to like a 42 and like.
And Luke did a better job coaching that team.
Yeah, but I mean, Luke Walton also went to a team that has nobody. So I mean, listen, Phil Jackson, the main criticism, right? Phil Jackson is like, if you want to say he's bad, is he coached Jordan and Pippen, and then it was Shaq and Kobe. Well, yeah, I've never seen the coaches that are great coaches don't win with the 5 of us on the court. That's,
Right.
I mean, they can't do that. So, I mean, I get it. Phil Jackson's great. Yes, he had great players, but there's a lot of coaches that coach great players that don't win championships. Jerry Sloan was a great coach. They didn't win any titles.
Well, George Karl's another great example of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Phil is smart. He knows how to pick the teams, pick the players.
Absolutely. And Cruz asked why I'm wearing my sunglasses. Cruz, you coached with me for how many years? And when did you not see me wear sunglasses? Like I'm always rocking sunglasses. And that's right. RIP to Jerry Sloan. Dementia took him way too early this past week. So we talk about the GOAT. And here you go, Cruz. Just for you, I'm going to take them off. Okay? Just for you, I'm going to take them off.
Oh, no. Put them back on, please. Put them back on.
So let's talk about the greatest of all time. And that's a debate. And I think there's 3 players and one that's not there yet, but he could get there. And I think those 3 players are Jordan. And then you can mix this order up any you want, and Jake's going to go ballistic. But I think Kareem and Kobe.
No. Okay.
Kareem and Kobe.
You got 2 out of 3. Kobe doesn't belong.
Why doesn't Kobe belong? I want to hear this.
Kobe Bryant is a Michael Jordan copycat that wasn't as good at it. He was the best player on 2 NBA Finals teams. He quit on his Lakers team a bunch of different times. He's being brought up because of nostalgia. He got a bunch of dudes traded off of his team. He was a bad teammate, all this other stuff. Cool. He was a great player. He's an all-time great. He's closer to 8 or 10. He's not one of the greatest ever.
Sounds like you're describing Jordan.
Listen, but Jordan – that's why he was a copycat, but Jordan was the best player on all 6 finals teams. Kobe can't say that. Kobe was the best player on 2 of his finals teams.
Shaq would have won.
LeBron, no, and they would have won.
Kobe,
that's not incorrect, but Kobe wouldn't have won those titles without Shaq either. So
give us your top 3 then.
There are 3 players that belong in the greatest of all time conversation. Joe got 2 of them: Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and LeBron James.
LeBron ain't even there yet, bro.
Yes,
LeBron's chasing Kobe still.
No,
like, honestly,
LeBron ain't even over Magic, bro.
Maybe not Magic. You can argue that if you want me to, but Kobe, it's not even close. LeBron's better. It's not even close.
How old are you, Jacob?
I'm 28 years old.
Yeah, you're not even qualified to speak on it, bro.
On who? Kobe Bryant? I watched his entire
You
career.
haven't seen any of those guys play. You never saw Kareem play. You never saw Jordan play.
I saw Jordan play plenty. I've seen Kareem play plenty. Those guys belong in the conversation. Kobe Bryant doesn't.
Kobe.
There is nothing Kobe Bryant does on a basketball court better than LeBron James does.
Okay, we're not talking about skill set. Because skill set, I'll say skill set overall, LeBron's the greatest of all time.
Sure.
Just off a skill set. But look at no, off a skill set. Set. I'm talking about what he does on the court. But here's the difference. Kobe, no matter what you say, stuck with the Lakers.
Didn't want to. That wasn't by his choice.
No, yes, it was.
He said, I'll play on Pluto before I'll play on the Lakers again. The Lakers just said, we're not trading you.
No.
That's a legitimate quote. Kobe Bryant said that once.
Okay, hold on. So, let me take that.
He took his hat off. Let's go.
Let's go. Time for me to give you guys pull back the curtain with Brother Joe.
Hold up, I'll mute and listen.
Oh, here we go. So working at the Beast 980, I worked with somebody who was with the Clippers for a number of years in a very prominent role prior to the Donald Sterling situation with the tapes. And he sat down and told me, we were talking, and I verified this with Kobe, God rest his soul, that Kobe did agree as a free agent, that free agent year, that he was going to sign with the Clippers. He got dinner with Donald Sterling, their president at the time, a guy named Joe Safety, who was the director of communications and all of that. Kobe called Dr. Buss with Rob Pelinka and said, hey, I'm out. Kobe was already making phone calls around the league to try to put guys with the Clippers because he was just tired of Shaq being lazy. And he was like, I'm done. Dr. Buss took him to dinner. Said, you know what, let's go ahead and have dinner. Those two went out somewhere. And by the end of that conversation, Kobe not only decided to stay with the Lakers, but Buss was like, I'm trading Shaq because I'm tired of him being lazy, not getting the surgeries, and I'm not going to lose the best player since Michael Jordan in the NBA. I'm not going to lose him. And that's why Kobe stayed. It had nothing to do with anything else. Kobe made the decision because Kobe felt he never wanted to play for their team with the Lakers. He was frustrated. We all been frustrated at our own jobs at some point. So, you know what? I'm done working for this asshole. I'm out. But then it's like, hold on, wait a minute. You sit down, talk with him, you get a raise, you get a promotion, and it's like, and then the guy that's causing some issues, they get rid of him. You're like, all right, yeah, everything worked out fine. As far as him being better than LeBron, look, LeBron, I can tell you this straight from LeBron's mouth. He's still chasing Kobe. In his mind, he's still chasing Kobe. He hasn't accomplished what Kobe has done yet. I wish Squeeze was in here to talk about it too, but he's still chasing. We've had this conversation with him one-on-one, and he's like, look, Kobe's done more for me and his game. I'm not even nowhere near where he is, but they're also two different players. LeBron is more Magic, Kobe is more Jordan. And that's the reality of it. It comes down to a skill set. Somebody jump in.
This is why I have commandment number 11. There's the 10 commandments and commandment number 11. Thou shalt not argue Kobe Bryant with Kobe Bryant fans for thine own sanity.
Yeah, that's true.
Bro, Kobe doesn't defer at the end of the games. Look how many game-winning shots he takes.
Look how many he missed too.
Look how many Jordan missed. Jordan
passed at the end of games too and stuff like that. I mean, Steve, we just talked about Steve Kerr and John Paxson making shots. I mean,
Ron Artest hit the 3 to beat the Celtics off a pass from Kobe.
Kobe passed, and that was one of the worst games Kobe ever played.
That was
the whole game was crappy.
And you must have a lot of salt in your diet, bro.
I will be the first to admit. Listen, my least favorite team in all of sports is the Minnesota Vikings. My second least favorite team in all of sports is the Ohio State Buckeyes. My third least favorite team is the Los Angeles Lakers. There's no doubt about that.
Okay, so let's put this in context. He's a Mavericks fan. Kobe scored 63 and 3/4 against his squad.
He also got swept in 2011 en route to Dallas's championship. So I mean,
that's when they were on the.
Well, listen, if
they were the back-to-back champion.
Why don't we talk about 2011? Why don't we talk about, not 3, not 10, not 15 championships with the Heat? Basically getting run out of the gym by the Mavericks.
Run out of the gym. I mean, I'm not going to disrespect the 2011 Mavericks on this show, but
no, I'm saying that the Heat got embarrassed by those Mavericks teams.
Sure, but I mean, the Lakers got embarrassed in the finals enough times with Kobe on the team too.
And this, to me, is why you cannot put LeBron even. I would say I'll put LeBron top 5, obviously, but his defense in those finals. They were just showing him on TV the other day. And I watched JJ Barea like 9, 10, 11 times just blow by LeBron and get a layup. And that's what separates.
Listen, Jose Juan Barea is a legend. I've got that entire team ranking 12 guys, and then you could start talking about Jordan. It's Jordan, then those 12 guys from that Mavericks team, and then start talking about everybody else.
God. Chris, you're sitting over there awfully quiet about this conversation.
I'm just glad there's no like big old LeBron James love fest going on here.
Oh, it's coming. Don't worry. Here,
Jacob feels about Kobe. That's how I feel about LeBron.
So speaking of LeBron, after watching that whole Last Dance show, if LeBron played in that era, he would obliterate Jordan's records. It wouldn't even wouldn't even be a conversation. LeBron James
the other way.
I can't get into the generation talk. Like, LeBron has played in the worst era in the NBA in terms of defense ever.
That's not. No, I don't agree with that. But
modern
basketball was really bad. The late 80s basketball or late 90s basketball was not that great. There was a transition between those great players to what we had in the early 2000s with Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady and Kobe. There was a few years when you had a bunch of old. I mean, that Utah Jazz team, Jeff Hornacek trying to guard. Imagine him trying to guard LeBron or Reggie Miller on LeBron. It wouldn't even be. It would be ridiculous. It would just be a bloodbath.
Okay, you brought up the Jazz team, and my buddy, he's my chiropractor in Vegas. One of the best chiropractors in Vegas. Make sure you holler at him, Dr. Jacob Danielson from Utah. He asks, is Karl Malone, is the lack of championships the reason why he's never talked about being a top 5 player or even a top 10 player?
Yes.
That's part of it.
There's also like Tim Duncan's better, Kevin Garnett's better. If you just want to go power
Kevin
forwards,
McHale's better.
Well,
Well,
no,
yeah, I'd say Bill. And I know Cruz is going to kill me for this, but to me, Bill Russell's a power forward in that era. Because if you go to that era, you want him and Wilt on the same team. You're going to put Russell at the 4 and Wilt at the 5. He's better than Karl Malone. I think.
There's no way, bro.
You don't think
Karl Malone carried that franchise for almost 2 decades. I mean, Karl Malone was a monster. People don't. He doesn't get the respect. I do agree. He doesn't get the respect because he didn't win. But to disregard what he did like that's just not fair, bro. I mean,
no, he's like a top 25-ish player. I mean, I don't have a list in front of me, obviously, but
I don't think so.
I would say give me he's in the top 12, 15, 12, 15, somewhere around there. You know, to me, I mean,
15, yeah, I would put him there.
Does anybody have that list ESPN made in front of him?
No,
yeah,
but
I see. Yeah, Jason,
yeah.
You've got some old age issues or something. It's like way past your bedtime. So that's my partner, look, everybody, Jason Perone.
Yeah, Jason's a good guy too. Look, Karl Malone. My issue with Karl Malone has nothing to do with basketball, and that's
and that's why everybody was a list like that, because Karl Malone was a fucking asshole.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Look, I'm gonna be real. That MVP was 97, 98 shouldn't have been his. That should, and it's like just like Barkley shouldn't have been Barkley's. So I mean, and I think that's the other thing when you look at the.
Hold on, why shouldn't Barkley have counted? He led them to the best record in the league, if I'm not mistaken.
Jordan was better. The best player in the league is your MVP.
But like, I mean, you make that argument all the time. You can, listen, LeBron could have been MVP for 10 years in a row. Same thing with Jordan, same thing with Magic. At a certain point, like the voters and everybody else gets bored of voting for the same people. But then also, Rue said, people get salty. People are tired of the pedestal and they want people to get knocked off, whether it's accurate or not.
Well, also, you got to remember, before Karl Malone or before Barkley went to Phoenix was just a decent average team. When he got traded to Phoenix, all of a sudden Phoenix just blew up. I mean, they went to the finals. They were the best team in the league that year, record-wise. I mean, Jordan had already coming off of I think two NBA finals. That was his third final.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people forget how Barkley was just a dominant physical force. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he gets shit on a lot, but even like Draymond will take shots at him. Oh, he can't even sit at my table because he doesn't get championships. I'm like, all right, well, based off that logic, Patrick McCaw can sit at your table. So let's calm down. Barkley would get 35 and 17 on Draymond and then punch him in the teeth after. That's just what Barkley was about.
And then he key his car in the driveway in the parking lot on the way out.
Hey, I would love this. I would love to have seen Draymond go against Rodman, like prime Rodman against Draymond.
Rodman's mind games would have just destroyed him.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like Draymond to me he may be the most overrated player in the NBA right now.
Maybe NBA history, bro. He's just an artificial tough guy. Draymond
he is a fake tough guy. That's
I will say this. He is perfect. He's a perfect Michigan State Spartan. Just the perfect fake tough guy, little brother attitude. He's a perfect Michigan State Spartan.
Always kicking people in the nuts and shit. He's lucky if he didn't play in the 80s. They would have, man.
Charles Oakley would have choke slammed him, bro.
Oh my God.
Here goes the hate fest.
Okay, even AC Green, bro. Don't let AC Green's Jerry curl fool you, bro. AC Green was a goon.
Hey, he would have sweated Afro Sheen on him and then elbowed him.
Exactly.
Hey, so Chris, we're talking about your Dubs. We're talking about your boy Draymond. You're sitting there quiet. I'm waiting for you to jump in, bro.
I'll take it all in. I'll let you guys have your word. But
listen, I'll use this as a segue, brother. The Dubs dynasty, in my opinion, is not over.
Yeah, well,
yes, it is.
And I'll say this in Draymond's defense. I mean, he's an easy target because he talks a lot of shit, and he's not, highly skilled. But he is crucial to that team, and the fact that they won championships. I mean, at one point he was the best defensive player in the league. And just his attitude in combination with Curry and Clay is that it's a perfect recipe because he has something that those two guys don't. I agree that, Draymond's not some all-star level player, but I think he's crucial on the Warriors team.
No doubt. He's a very good role player.
He played his role to a T. Like,
right.
He'd be fine if he didn't say he was better than Charles Barkley.
Right. And I totally disagree with that statement. But, it's one of those things where, when someone talks shit to you, you got to say something, That's kind of how I see it.
But how much shit does Draymond Green talk about people that's just unprovoked? Because he's Draymond just talking shit.
Right. And that's just part of his personality, right? So you got to take it with the good and the bad. So, he's going to talk off the cuff and he's going to say some, ludicrous shit. But at the same time, you need that type of guy, in combination with their current team.
Because he knows that in the modern NBA, nobody's
No, absolutely not. And I think that's important too. Like when we compare these players, you got to compare them in their eras, because we can't look at the 2017 Warriors and compare it to that Bulls team or something like that. It just, it doesn't make sense. The game is completely different.
I'm glad you put that up there. I'm glad you put that up there. Damn it. We all see the video, Draymond, of you on the football field with Michigan State.
He was a tight end.
And I'm going to say this. You give me Cruz Costin Jr., you give me Peanut Arrigo, you give me Sky Frew, you give me Chacho. They're locking up Draymond off the line of scrimmage. He is not a football player. And for him to add to that, watching him run was painful. And that made me appreciate Antonio Gates and Tony Gonzalez and those players way more, because again, when you strap them up on a football field, it's way different than when you're on a basketball court.
100%. Just like everybody says LeBron would have dominated the NFL. No. LeBron doesn't like to get hit, bro.
What receiver does, though?
And you got to think NBA players, it's full of a bunch of fake tough guys. You know what I mean? Like it's a different sport. It's a different mentality. Football's way different.
It's gotten a whole lot softer.
No doubt.
Oh yeah.
It's not easy.
So we heard Jake's group, his three. Jeff, who are your three greatest of all time?
My top 5. I'll go Jordan. I'll go Magic. I'll go Kareem. I'll go LeBron, and then I'll go Kobe.
Go ahead, Bruce. Are those your 5?
I gotta go, not in any order.
Come on, you got to give an order. Nope, you can't go not in any order. That's a meow way of getting out of it. Let's go.
I don't want to give it to him, but I got to give it to him. Jordan is number 1. Number 2 has got to be Kareem, and then to me, it's going to be, I don't know, man. It's tough between Kobe and Magic. I would have to go Magic, then Kobe, then LeBron.
And Chris, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm a little bit younger, so I'm not really, qualified to speak about the older generation of basketball. But I mean, Jordan to me is always going to be the greatest. I think you have to look at Kareem, and then maybe someone that doesn't get talked about because he played so long ago. Just the ultimate winner is Bill Russell. That's someone who I would consider. But for me, I don't consider LeBron. I think he's just a physical specimen. And I think as he's gotten older, his skill set has gotten better. He's become a better shooter. But I don't put him up there.
Well, I think the thing about LeBron, LeBron's legacy is not written yet. He's still playing,
Correct.
So we don't know. And then the thing about Bill Russell, everybody says he's the greatest winner. I think he won like 11 straight championships or whatever as player, coach.
Right.
But I think in the league at the time, they only had 12 or 16 teams.
Right.
And then it goes back to my point. And the center was your size, Roos.
Right.
Yeah, other than
my point where it's hard to compare eras, so it's just different, And I know we'll talk about the best team of all time, but it's hard to compare when you're talking about different eras.
Yeah.
So
No.
the question is, could Kareem run with modern day times?
No.
You know,
Absolutely.
I see. I think Kareem is the most undervalued NBA player in history. I mean, the guy played over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
He's got more MVPs, more. You know, they changed the rules of the game because of Kareem, and he was a great two-way player. But what doesn't get talked about enough, and Mike Dancy from Franchise wrote a great article. It's on the website about who's the greatest center in Lakers history between Shaq and Kareem. I wish he wrote a little bit longer because he has some valid points, but Kareem has the most unstoppable shot in NBA history with the skyhook. And for the life of me, I don't understand why in the hell nobody else would go to use it.
Because it doesn't look cool, bro.
Damn that! I'm getting buckets.
People want
it's fucking in buckets and winning.
They want the tongue out with the legs spread open, trying to dunk on each other.
Well, that's the
I thought you were talking about your Friday nights.
But could Kareem run with modern day centers? Think about that. Like, who's going to guard that hook shot?
And also,
is Joel Embiid going to guard that? Is Hassan Whiteside going to guard that? No. There's nobody in the history of basketball that can guard that shot.
Let Anthony Davis learn that shot. It's a wrap.
Yep. And also,
Anthony Davis can't even shave a unibrow.
Bro, don't start shitting on AD. Go ahead, Ruth.
The thing about Kareem too, what I think the reason why I think he can play is because he wasn't a big lumbering heavy guy. Like he wasn't like Sabonis or even Shaq. You know, he could get up and down the court. He might not have been the fastest guy, but he was lean. He was athletic, and he was really long. So you know, if they want to stretch the floor and have the stretch 4, stretch 5s or whatever, he could guard those guys on the perimeter. So,
well, and this is part of the conversation that never gets brought in when we start these discussions is like Kareem, if he played now, would have the benefit of training like he had to play now. You know, it's like the discussion of somebody going backwards or forwards either way is like if Jordan played now, he'd be more of a 3-point shot. Like he would have a better 3-point shot because he would have to in order for today's game. And they wouldn't have dudes like Jeff Hornacek and them small white dudes basically trying to guard him. So, I mean,
Steve Kerr.
Well, sure, Steve Kerr. But that's why my general thought is always
what did Steve Kerr do to you, Joe?
Great players would be great in any era because they would have to their entire game would change essentially because they would be raised differently, brought up differently, just on the basketball court. I'm not even talking about their home lives, but everything would be different from them from a mindset standpoint, from how they're built. Like, for example, the common phrasing, which that's why I started to roll my eyes because I thought you were going that route of LeBron couldn't play in the 80s. It's like LeBron outweighs Bill Laimbeer, the poster child of tough guy, by 30 pounds. So, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It would be different. LeBron probably wouldn't be 6'8", 260 either if he was playing back in the 80s because guys like him just didn't exist. So to think about it that way, but I think they could play in any era.
LeBron's bigger, faster, stronger than any of those guys. Like, imagine, like, for example, Kevin McHale trying to guard LeBron,
right? Or
Larry Bird. I mean, are you kidding me? He would just blow right by him.
Conversely, though, how does LeBron stack up in that era psychologically?
That's a great question.
But he would be completely different because he would play. He would have been brought up in the 80s or in the 70s instead of in the 2000s, where AAU basketball and you jump from team to team to team to team and do those kinds of things. That's kind of why that's a little more prevalent now.
So what you're saying is because LeBron would have grown up in an era where you can sit in the armrest of your grandfather's Oldsmobile in the front seat, not wear seatbelts, have people smoke around you all day, he'd have been a tougher guy.
Probably, yeah.
Drink Coca-Cola out of the bottle.
Oh, see, now Sean brings up a good point, and I disagree with this, Sean. Sean and I never disagree or never agree on when it comes to basketball, but he said Kareem didn't have the athleticism to run with those teams. I disagree. Bro, Kareem was the most athletic center during his up until I think Olajuwon got there.
Bro,
to be honest with you,
20 years in the NBA at center and not be athletic. Like those
he was
guys, they get injured a lot.
He was a freaking black belt with Bruce Lee
all the time. Yeah, he has that kind of longevity is just obscene. We haven't seen that kind of longevity until LeBron rolled around.
And he played in that era with it was rough and tumble. Kareem
it's rough and tumble, but nobody lifted weights back then.
Exactly.
Like, they didn't do strength training. They didn't do that much conditioning. I mean, Jordan talked about it in The Last Dance. Most guys are smoking cigarettes and drinking beers at halftime.
They're doing lines, and they're doing lines in the hotel rooms with hookers and
which
you know,
Jordan
whatnot.
didn't do any of those things.
We need to bring that back.
Jordan,
Bring it back.
No, why would he? He's MJ.
His eyes are the same color as my jersey back, or the background of my jersey back there, but he didn't do no drinking or drugs. No.
No.
Yeah,
Hey, but hey, for Jordan, but that's another thing I like. Low key, the flex was on 10 every time they interviewed him with the cigar and his tequila next to him.
Yep.
That was a hardcore
that
flex.
was yak. He had yak in the glass.
No, it's the tequila that he owns. He owns a tequila company.
Oh, okay.
Because like none of those houses
right
were
in the front. He was supposed to be a master marketer.
Oh, he was marketing it. Because now everybody's like, what's that Jordan drinking? All of a sudden it comes up his tequila.
That's the new Gatorade.
The MJ flavor.
Do they have it in grape?
Like tobacco and leather.
Oh shit! So Cruz says what has me sold is every time Creed put the hook shot up, he thought it was going in. Yeah, saying like that's real talk. Every time Kareem shot the hook, I thought it was going in. So that's why I think Kareem is so undervalued when it comes to NBA and where people talk about the players and whatnot. I think the debate starts at number 3 then. Is it LeBron? Is it Kobe? Is it Magic? Is it Bird? And I think at that point too, you have to include Wilt Chamberlain.
You can't put Bird in there. Bird is just a nostalgic.
Nah, dude.
No, he's not.
No, Bird was different.
Bird play live. What are you talking about?
I watched plenty of basketball. Just because I didn't watch it happen as it happened doesn't mean I don't know it existed.
It's different.
ESPN Classic works, bro. Like what?
Yeah, you didn't watch the Revolutionary War happen. Do you still celebrate the 4th of July? It's the same concept.
I only like it for the
hot dogs and hamburgers.
Oh man, Bird is just a nostalgic pick by white guys. No offense to all the white guys out there.
All 5 of us that are in this chat. Joe, are you? I would say, Joe, are you a white guy? I really don't know.
No, sorry. So, but no, 4.5. But look, Bird dropped like 30 something left-handed because he felt like shooting left-handed one.
47.
It was 47. Just because Bird was different. Yeah, Bird is just different.
You gonna tell me with this no hand checking soft ass defense NBA in this modern NBA, Bird can't do that?
Hang on, hold on. Why does everybody act like hand checking is like a lightsaber? Like it's not okay, so I can put my hands on a guy. That's not
hand checking was. Hey, I was mad. I was mad playing street ball because you'd always want to play kind of by NBA rules, and I loved hand checking people because I would just ride them and I'd play. When they said no handshaking, I was like, man, this shit sucks.
It was like stiff arming somebody all the way down.
It is like stiff arming.
Yeah, that's why there's so much flow in the modern NBA.
Hey, well, that's rolling dubs. We're not friends anymore, man.
When you watch The Last Dance at the end, they would show the scores of each game, and the scores are like in the 70s, 80s. Like,
oh, painfully low, yeah.
That's also because the offense was crappy. Look at the shots these guys are taking. They're taking bad mid-range jumpers and
also
throwing shots at the rim.
Shit out of them in the block. And like you see how they play defense. I mean, they would knock the shit out of you. It's almost like they're going against a linebacker every play because they're coming off a screen. All of a sudden, you get a forearm, or they're down the block and they're catching them. They're throwing them bows. You don't see that nowadays. If you do, it's a double flagrant. They're both thrown out the game.
Yeah, and there's some differences. Like, I mean, the guys that like Luke Longley would never play in the modern NBA because
Zaza Pachulia played the same fucking player.
Pachulia can at least look at the rim. Longley, if he throws the ball at the rim,
that was a good passer, good screener.
Bro, Longley was a big, tall guy. I mean, he had some length.
He might do that, but I mean, it's rare that you play in today's NBA if you can't even look at the rim and think you're going to shoot the ball.
Andrew Bogut.
No, look, dude, Bird. Look, I think you're devaluing Bird. Like Bird,
devaluing him.
Bird and Magic saved the game, bro. Like real shit. Bird and Magic. If it wasn't for either one of them, they saved the NBA from going bankrupt. You know what I'm saying? And Bird was just a realist. Bird was in that. I think everybody here has seen the documentary on the Dream Team, and then Bird's like, yeah, my back was hurt, so I'm sitting out while they're running this scrimmage, and I'm telling Magic beforehand, don't piss off Jordan. He already runs the league. We're done. We're over.
There's a new sheriff in town. Yeah,
Larry knew what Magic didn't want to admit.
Exactly, but Bird, but also if you in the Last Dance, at the end of the game, when they beat Indiana, Jordan goes and meets Bird outside the locker room, and he was like, "What's up, buddy? What's up?" And he's like, "You fucking bitch, fuck you." Like that's Bird still being competitive because he knows, damn, like I wish I could be out there with him. Exactly, but Bird is a top 5 player to me. Like that's just me. I hate the Celtics. I hate them.
I can't put him in the top 5. There's no way. Top 10, yeah. Top 5, no.
Top 10, absolutely. Like, but I still put him below like Tim Duncan. Those types.
He's way better than Duncan.
Way better. He had way more of an impact, dude, than Duncan.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's
coming from you.
Just because he was the big fundamental, he was boring. Like no one wants to give Duncan his due because he was boring.
Bro, like, I'm a Lakers fan,
and they're the reason that you don't have 4 or 5 rings in a row.
Duncan was a great defensive player too.
Oh yeah,
Bird played great defense. Are you kidding me? Like, disparaging, and I hate defending. Why you guys have me defending the Celtic? Like, what the hell is wrong with you?
I was gonna say, where's your Boston accent, bro?
Look,
you just defend it because he's white.
Hey, Jeff, you went too far. Now I gotta go to the bar.
Wicked hat.
Bird is not even. You can't even debate that.
It's Bird and Duncan, bro. And I can make the argument Duncan ain't even top 10. How's that?
A poor one.
He's probably like
Actually,
8, 9, or 10.
I do gotta admit though, like especially because like the Bad Boys were such an integral part of the documentary, like Zeke does not get his due, and I hated those Pistons teams, hated them. But for Isaiah and the Bad Boys to beat the Celtics in their prime, the Lakers in their prime, the Bulls keeping them out of the finals all those years. I mean, obviously Magic is like the tippy top in terms of assists and being a point man, but Zeke's number 2.
I think Zeke's the best point guard under 6 foot or 6 foot and under.
Yeah.
6'1" and under.
But way better than Stockton.
You could make an argument that Zeke's the best point guard not named Magic Johnson, right? Am I forgetting somebody?
My thoughts precisely.
You could.
Steph Curry would like a word.
Come on.
Oh my.
Who? Come on. Man, somebody mute that mic. Come on. Come on.
You're talking about changing the game.
No,
Steph
I mean,
Curry
they had to change
revolutionary player Steph is. You have to give that to him. Remember, everyone thought Mark Jackson was fucking insane when he was coaching the Warriors. And he was like, oh, yeah, these two are definitely the 2 best shooters I've ever seen. People were flabbergasted by that talk. And
probably
then,
just because Mark Jackson's a bad coach, but go ahead.
Well, I mean, listen, he was more about Jeebus than basketball. But, I mean, at the end of the day, he was right. I mean, all of a sudden, Clay and Steph are, arguably the 1 and 2 shooters of all time.
Bird would have to say something.
Well said, Jeff. Well said.
Kevin Durant.
It's just a reality.
Bird, Durant, Craig Hodges.
No, you can't put
Reggie.
Reggie Miller. Craig Hodges. Craig as a shooter. We're talking about straight shooting.
Steve Kerr.
Anderson Hunt above Craig Hodges.
Hodges.
Damn it.
Shut up with Craig Hodges.
There's no Hodges.
Trent Tucker.
No, you know who was a hell of a shooter that doesn't get enough love is Mark Price. Mark Price was an amazing shooter.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw something at you that no one even. You said Mark Price, and his best point because he came out of Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech has produced some great point guards. Best point guard out of Georgia Tech.
Kenny Anderson.
I know who it is.
Kenny
I'll let you go ahead and say some things.
Your boy Kenny Anderson.
Ruse, you're muted for some reason, bro. I can't hear you. What does that mean?
That's you.
Probably you.
That's you.
Oh, it's me. Go ahead, keep talking. I'm gonna fix whatever audio problem I have.
Kenny Anderson.
Yeah, Kenny Anderson.
Mark Price could shoot, man.
Yeah, Mark Price could definitely shoot. Watching just because, obviously we have all the time in the world these days. someone on Twitter listed like, these are the games, best UNLV games of all time. And even knowing the outcome of that UNLV Georgia Tech game in the
89, 90.
Yeah, 89, 90. Even knowing the outcome, like I was sweating it out. Like that game was so good.
I'll make the argument Kenny Anderson is the best college point guard, but he's definitely the best at Georgia Tech.
Ooh, okay. So who is the best college point guard? Like
Magic Johnson.
Yeah,
you can go with Magic. I think. Hey, what's my dude's name? God, Sham God was a hell of a point guard. Greg Anthony's up there. Kenny Anderson.
Sham God was a dribbler, though. I mean, he wasn't. He didn't beat his team to a national championship.
Rod Strickland.
Rod Strickland is probably one of the more underrated players to ever exist.
Hell yeah, Tyus Edney. I mean, like you're talking about college point guards. I mean, those are guys right there. But you put me up when it comes to Georgia Tech. I'm taking Kenny over Price or Stephon. That's just me. But I'm biased because that's my homie. So.
Allen Iverson.
All right, so the NBA is going to be playing in Orlando at Disney World. They're going to be down there with the Mickey Mouse. They're not coming to Vegas, which sucks for everybody at franchise because would have been nice to cover some games at home in Vegas. What do you guys think about
Disney money, baby?
Yeah, you got to please your partners.
So is that official? It's going to be in Orlando?
They're in talks.
It will get official here pretty quickly.
Yeah, it'll be a reality within the next week or so, I think.
Vegas is out for sure.
I heard an interview with Mark Cuban, and he was saying the reason why Florida and Disney is because of their affiliation with ESPN and ABC. They want to please their partners, so it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
That and they're already letting everything happen in Florida, where Vegas is slowly. I mean, they're opening casinos up in the next week or so.
Yeah.
But
it's supposed to be a big announcement.
Yeah. So look, they have them. There's I think 20,000 rooms. There's different arenas at Disney World. I really think that if this, I really don't care at this point. To be honest with you,
as long as there's basketball, I don't care where it's played. They could play on Fight Island. I would be happy.
I'm with that. What do you guys think about it?
Warrior fan, I could care less because we have
They're
nothing.
not in.
because it's business as usual for the Warriors now that the NBA is back how it should be.
No. You guys need us. I mean, the ratings have gone down terribly. You guys
The
need
ratings have gone the ratings have gone down because the best player plays on the West Coast, so nobody stays up that late except people on the West Coast. So nobody's watching the Lakers until it's midnight on the East Coast. So
that's your guys' fault for living in cold ass places.
hey, I didn't choose where I was born.
Well, you could choose to move.
Yeah, you're right. I could.
No, look, the NBA, in all seriousness, and I joke about it, but the NBA is a better league when the Lakers, the Knicks, the Bulls, the Celtics, when they're all
relevant. Yeah.
When those are the teams that are relevant. And it sucks that the Knicks haven't been relevant for almost 20 years. It's
worst management in sports. Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Browns? That's the only one, right?
The Browns are up there.
At least the A's win every now and then.
Yeah, but
the A's have played in the playoffs. Yeah, that's true.
The Detroit Lions.
Yeah, they're making movies about the A's. They're making Moneyball. They're not talking about the Browns. Everybody's got the bag over their head. Yeah, exactly. That is the imagery of. Yeah, I mean, you have Elway on the drive and then the bag over the head. That's Cleveland sports football in a nutshell.
Saints used to do that too. They used to be called the Aints.
Oh yeah,
they had
the Saints were really, really bad.
So the Browns need their version of Drew Brees. That's the only thing that pulls them out of
their jerseys are brown, bro. That's all you need.
That's not helping.
No, that doesn't help at all.
So I mean, you guys are good with the NBA going to Orlando and starting everything back up by July 15th. I believe playoffs start.
I'm ready. June 15th.
Well, what it comes down to is LeBron was right. There's going to be this air of dissatisfaction because at the end of the day, we need a champion. That's why everybody was so wounded by the NCAA tournament, getting canceled. Now at least there's going to be a crowning of a champion. We're not going to have to debate, could Kawhi and the Clippers have supplanted the Lakers that season? Is Giannis going to get to the finals for the first time? Like, we actually get to see it transpire.
Can you say his last name, Jeff?
Antetokounmpo.
Yeah.
No.
No, I'll just call him the Freak.
That works.
Hey, his social media game is dope, and he's like, "Ladies, I'm a freak on the court, and I'm a freak in the sheets." I don't know. It was when he was talking about his girl. She in the background, like, "Will you shut up?" So okay,
She's a Laker fan too. That's terrible.
So here's what I got to take on this whole Orlando NBA thing. The thing that people should keep in mind is the teams with a strong leadership are going to be at a significant advantage because there's been no activity for over 2 months. Mm-hmm. So if your team is out of it and these guys are high paid, they're going to get their money regardless. Some of these guys are already coasting. They're, stuffing their faces with all kinds of food and shit they shouldn't be eating and drinking and doing their own self-quarantine, partying, whatever. But the teams that are focused are going to hit the ground running, in my opinion. The teams that have strong leadership have a strong locker room. So I think that's something to keep an eye on.
Well, it's going to come down to 3 or 4 teams anyway. I mean, listen, we all like, to watch the Rockets play small ball, but we know the Rockets aren't going to do anything with it.
Yeah, I don't think Houston fans want to see small ball.
I hate Russell Westbrook.
Supposedly James Harden's lost a lot of weight, is what I heard. Somebody posted something.
So he shaved?
Yeah.
No, because he stopped going to so many strip clubs because he couldn't eat their buffets.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, did you see that? Did you guys? No, seriously. And it's a thing, I think it was on Reddit. There's a thing, like, if you look at the cities that have really, really good strip clubs.
Yeah. Houston.
His number, but besides Houston, where he's from, his numbers have a significant decrease than the cities that have shitty strip clubs. Because he's a strip club addict.
That's funny. I'm gonna have to look that. Anything I can do to throw shade at the Rockets or specifically James Harden, I'm all for. So
bro, Mike D'Antoni, yeah.
Most professional athletes are strip club addicts, bro. They're strip club veterans. So that was another funny thing you mentioned that Dominique Wilkins, when he played with the Atlanta Hawks, used to own a nightclub. I don't know if you guys know this or not. So when teams would come in, Dominique would always be hosting, be cordial, and get these guys VIP booths with all the booze and champagne, whatever they wanted.
And Magic City, they'd end up at Magic City.
Yeah,
that's less shady though than Utah. Utah will just give you a bad pizza. Dominique trying to get you herpes.
Okay, that story's not even. Hold on.
The pizza story is not true.
There's no way that's real. I don't believe that story for 2 seconds.
I don't believe it's real either. I'm a Jordan fan.
Jordan was up all night drinking.
I don't believe that.
No, he was up all night drinking, and he was hungover when he played that game. They called it the flu because you can't call it a hangover.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
There you go. There's my theory.
If you have the stomach flu, bro, there is no. You're going to be pissing out of your ass for a week. Okay? There's no way you're going to play in an NBA game.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to have to wear a diaper or something.
So Paul Pierce.
Yeah.
Okay, so Paul Pierce, I think he's another one that's the most overrated player.
I hate him.
Overrated
I hate him.
in history.
Paul Pierce.
He's like one of my 3 least favorite humans in sports.
So yours is like Kobe, and Paul Pierce?
No. Here's the thing about Kobe. Paul Pierce thinks he's Kobe Bryant.
Nowhere near it.
Yeah, Kobe's great. Like, Kobe's an all-time great. Paul Pierce is like a top 75-ish player all time, and Kobe's like a top 10. So, but Paul Pierce, if you asked him, would say like, I'm the greatest of all time. It's Jordan, then me.
Paul Pierce.
This is the same dude that said he could guard LeBron because he knew all of his tendencies, and then LeBron went 45, 15, and 10 on him.
Yeah.
What was that number that LeBron specifically scored over 1,000 points just on Paul Pierce?
Just on Paul Pierce, yes.
Like you
the whole Paul Pierce was the LeBron stopper thing was ridiculous. His team was really good and happened to beat LeBron's team in one series, and that was it.
Yeah, LeBron's playing with a bandit of bums.
Right, exactly. So that the
There's
first
always
group of
that
captains,
stopper, right? Brian Russell was the Jordan.
the
stopper.
Jordan stopper.
Yeah.
like-
That was
Kobe
Gerald
stopper.
Wilkins. That was Gerald Wilkins.
Who was the Kobe stopper for the Rockets?
Ruben
'Cause
Patterson.
Shane Battier.
Well, okay,
and
no, there was Ruben Patterson. There
Ruben
was
Patterson.
there what's his name? He played for the Suns. Rajah
Rajah
Bell.
Raja
Oh God, Raja
Yeah.
Bell, yeah.
And
Ron
Kobe,
Artest before he came to the Lakers.
Yeah.
well, hey, I will
Kobe
never
stood up
disparage
for
Ron.
Ron Artest.
I'll never disparage Ron Artest. That Ron, to me,
Meta.
Meta, Panda, whatever you want. Look, Ron Artest was one of those dudes that just was just different. Like on the court, like everything about his game, it wasn't always pretty, but he was more than willing to do the dirty work and not complain. He was tough. And I think it's on Showtime. Did you guys see his documentary?
It is outstanding. You guys need
Phenomenal.
to watch it. It's so good.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And that really, you get to see how he really thought, and it gives you a better appreciation. And as someone that covered him, like Ron Artest was one of the most pleasurable people to cover, to be honest with you. Like he was a super cool guy, more than accommodating, sitting down, talking with you, very honest and open about things. As long as you just didn't treat him like shit and do him wrong, he was super cool. So
don't throw a beer on him when he's laying on the scorer's table.
yeah, pretty much.
God.
Yeah, you guys got to watch that. If you haven't watched that documentary, it's well.
I'll have to give it a look. Yeah,
it's
It's
outstanding.
super. It's
Really good.
It may be my second favorite basketball documentary behind The Last Dance. You
Yeah,
know?
it was done really well.
And he produced it himself. Like, and you could make an argument. And I think it was it Rod Strickland? Somebody tweeted out like the best players from Queens in itself, and it was like in no order, like Kenny Anderson, Ron Artest, Kenny Smith, and there was like two other like Hall of Famers. And you're looking at like, damn, you could put that starting five up against a lot of teams in the NBA starting five, and they're going to give them a run for their money. So I mean, just coming from that little small borough in New York is crazy.
Odom.
Lamar Odom, I think Lamar was in there too. Yeah.
UNLV fans don't like to talk about Lamar.
Well, your article coming out soon will be talking about enough of that.
Yeah.
So
I gotta ask, guys, if the NBA playoffs were to start today, who's your odds-on favorite?
Lakers.
You got to ask me that, bro. Really, you really got to ask me that.
All right, let's talk to people who don't have a horse.
a horse in the race.
Yeah.
Oh man, I think from a matchup standpoint, the Clippers are the team that match up the best with because there's three teams. Listen, you said earlier, Jeff, the NBA, it's going to come down to 3 or 4 teams. That's how the NBA's been for 40 years. It's always been that way. So the 3 teams are the 2 teams in LA and Milwaukee.
Yep.
And I think the Clippers are the team that match up the best with both of those teams, just because they got so many between Kawhi, Pat Bev, and Paul George. They can just play out on the perimeter. If the Lakers are going to beat the Clippers, it'll be Anthony Davis having just this. I mean, obviously LeBron's got to be LeBron too, but Anthony Davis will be the best player in that series if they win over the Clippers.
Don't discount Lou Williams either.
No,
that's
Lou's underrated. Yeah, but look, in all honesty, like taking off any Laker fandom, what I expect out of the Lakers when they play the Clippers, especially in a playoff mode or whatnot, is what you seen that weekend of Christmas, where they beat the brakes off of the Bucks and then they beat the brakes off of the Clippers, and they played at a different level, especially in the fourth quarter. And I think you've seen right then you've seen playoff LeBron in the regular season, and I think the big question overall is one, will Anthony Davis stay healthy? He's done a really good job of playing through injury this season and playing and being healthy for really the first time in a few years. And I think the second question is, when it comes to the Clippers, and it sounds weird to say because people want to talk about how they're unselfish, but is there enough balls to go around with the Clippers? Because Kawhi, he's the one to take his shots. PG's the one to take his shots, but people don't talk about Pat Beverly wants to get his shots too. And Lou will get his shots at some point. Right. And then you got Morris, that wants to get his shots up. With the Lakers, I think there's more of a chemistry, and I think there's more of a everybody knows the role. I think with the Clippers, I still think there's a little feeling out process going on.
Well, LeBron's teams are to that. Well, because think about it like this too: the Lakers have played a lot of basketball together, whereas the Clippers have used load management all season. So, they haven't had that elongated run together yet. So we don't know what it's going to look like in terms of like, who's going to be alpha male. Is it, Paul George, does he think he's alpha male? Does he take, the last shot or whatever? So, I mean, the Clippers, I think there's a lot of question marks. In terms of the East, I mean, I think we're all kind of anointing the Bucks, but does anybody think the Celtics could get there? I mean, with all that young talent and Brad Stevens as coach.
Or Toronto. Don't sleep on the Raptors, man. The Raptors are really
that's a great point.
Team.
As long as it's not the Sixers, we're good.
The Sixers aren't getting there. They're too dysfunctional.
But they're gonna break that. They're gonna break that team up.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
they're mentally soft, bro. Joel Embiid, bitch.
Are you saying he's softer than drugstore cotton? Are you saying he's softer than cat shit?
I'm not a fan of. I don't know much about cat shit, but I'll take your word for it.
So once we actually get to the finals, it's going to probably be Giannis's first go round. Does the nerves and being a new team, does that affect the Bucks, or are they already well oiled enough to kind of compete?
I think the Bucks are fine. Giannis will be fine. The issue I have with Giannis is he's playing with dudes like Chris Middleton and Eric Bledsoe. Like, I mean, really, we talk about the all-time great players and stuff like that. They're always, not always, I guess I shouldn't say it like that, but they usually play very well. But there's a lot of times, I mean, we've seen it with LeBron. LeBron's played very well against teams like Chris's guys in Golden State, but they didn't stand a chance because LeBron's the best player in the series. And then you have Curry, Thompson, Durant. The next like 5 guys are all Warriors. And that might very well be the case if they play the Lakers. Like if they play the Lakers, it's LeBron, then it's Giannis, then it's Anthony Davis. And then we kind of start going on the list. How many Lakers do you get to before you get to Chris Middleton or Clippers?
And I think what you need to consider too is in the playoffs, teams actually start playing defense. Mm-hmm. And I think with Giannis, until he develops that outside shot, I can't really take the Bucks too seriously because he is a defensible player if you force him to shoot outside. And then with the Lakers Clippers, you have a lot of, on the Clippers, you have a lot of one-on-one stoppers. It'll be interesting to see how that matchup plays out in a playoff series when defense is, such a priority. So I think that's going to be interesting.
I was just going to say, in retort to you, Chris, Giannis's jumper this year has been like he a lot better, and I think that's
true. But is it consistent?
Yeah,
it's not. Is it Curry? No, but I think it's like Jordan 87.
But I think
87, 88.
I think if you look at someone like LeBron, right? He was he came into the league as a freak athlete, a lot like Giannis. But he really worked on his shot and started to develop that shot. And then you saw in those, playoff series and the finals against the Warriors, he was able to dominate not only from the outside, but kill you from the inside. I think Giannis needs to be able to show that consistency before you can really take him seriously, in a potential final matchup.
Giannis is not even close to being a complete player. Like not even close.
That's scary.
He's super young.
But also that window can close if he's going to stay in Milwaukee pretty quickly. So, but the thing about Giannis that I want to mention, if you remember when the Lakers played them the last time, the game before, I forget who they played, but the Lakers.
It was the Clippers. Clippers,
yeah.
Here's knee against the Lakers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what happened in that game is they showed the blueprint on how to slow Giannis down. You're physical. You got to be physical with him and beat him up.
Right. And the Lakers have 2 players that can guard Giannis, in AD and LeBron. And with regular season, I don't take regular season basketball seriously. I think you can only take so much from it when you're talking about potential matchups. The playoffs is just so different. Being able to watch this Warrior run, it's like, they've kind of, walked through the regular season until it gets to the playoff time, and it's totally different basketball. So that's kind of what I'm excited to see is those teams that, are your top 3 teams that we've talked about, to see who's going to be the, the defensive team that pulls out of that.
But that goes to even like what Kobe was talking about last year when he asked him about can the Rockets win under D'Antoni's offense, and he was like, hell no. Like hell no. And it's like, why? And he said, because in the postseason, it's more about slowing the tempo down, running your offense, and playing defense.
Getting buckets.
Right.
Exactly. And that's why I think the Lakers have a distinct advantage over every other team in the NBA because they're big.
Right.
You have not only do you have LeBron and AD, but you got
LeBron's the
JaVale
pace setter.
McGee. Yeah, and there's no point guard in the NBA that can match up with LeBron.
And he's got the experience, you know.
And then a guy named Dwight Howard.
I'm about to say, you got Dwight Howard coming off the bench, and now with Markieff Morris or whichever Morris brother is there, you know.
JaVale McGee. I know people shit on him, but man, he's turned his career around.
Yeah,
JaVale's become kind of that ultimate role player for them.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like he used to be like the marquee figure on Shaqtin' a Fool, but like he's cleaned it up his act because he's really been. Oh yeah, I mean,
that was a perfect description.
No, I mean, and listen, he went to UNR
Washington.
and all that, so but I mean, he's really become so important because he's been around that championship pedigree, right? Because he spent all those years with the Warriors, and then he transitioned. Now he's under LeBron's tutelage, and you can trust him out there for stretch minutes.
He's the perfect pick and roll player.
Well,
he's perfect.
He's always had tremendous athleticism for a guy's size. I mean, he's like 7'1", 7'2", or something, and he can jump out of the gym.
The thing with the Warriors is he has asthma, so they didn't play him as many minutes. They wanted to control his minutes, and he's been able to take off with the Lakers because he's playing more minutes. They're trusting the asthma thing. So I think he's a great turnaround story. And then you have Dwight Howard. I mean, that's a nice front court with him and AD.
A healthy Dwight Howard.
And their role players aren't like junk like these dudes that we had at the Cavs where we were trying to say like, oh, can Rodney Hood or Channing Frye give you some minutes against Kevin Durant? It's like, no.
Richard Jefferson. I like Rodney Hood. I think Rodney Hood in the right team could, and he did well in Utah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a spot for him, sure, but I mean, Rodney Hood was that team's second.
And remember, in
player.
the playoffs, your roster really goes down to about 8 players. These guys are going to play elevated minutes. So maybe the fact that you have the deepest team isn't as important. It's really what are your top 8 guys going to do?
And really, I mean, in crunch time, it gets to like your top 2 or 3.
Right.
That was
and that's where, as a Laker fan, I would feel good because, I mean, we've seen it with LeBron. He is the ultimate player in the playoffs. I mean, he can literally take over a game.
Yeah. And I just think at the end of the day, when you look at how the Lakers are built, they're built for a title. They're built for the playoffs. They're not built. The regular season is just, okay, that's 82 exhibition games.
But so is Kawhi now. Kawhi is a different animal in the playoffs.
Kawhi, when it comes to the playoffs, and
it's a different animal.
Yeah,
he's elevated himself, and now you're not even. It's the argument is Kawhi the best player in the NBA because of his.
He's the best two-way player.
You can't be the best player when you only play like 60 games a year.
Yeah,
bro.
you have to play.
But they're playing the long game with Kawhi.
That's the long game. People pay to watch you play, bro.
Hey, I don't agree with it, and I'm with you. But like I said, I've seen it the last couple of years in the playoffs. He is a different animal. They've rested him that whole year so that when it comes playoff time, he could do his thing.
Why does he? Does he PMSing or something? Like, why does he need so much time off? Like, I don't get it. Has he got cramps?
Well, it's weird because
cranberry juice, and then he hits the fadeaway jumper over Joel Embiid.
He spends too much time at the strip club on camera with his feet up, just throwing them out. I'm telling you,
it's crazy because like when I was stationed in San Diego, that was when he was at San Diego State. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy how much his game has developed. He was like, a defensive stopper at San Diego State. And he is like totally a different player. So, I mean, he's really playing more minutes in the playoffs. That's a scary thing with Kawhi. I mean, he is a beast.
One of the things that, and I can speak from personal experience, and guys that work with me, when I played, and I think the only one that really knows it's a squeeze for the most part is, I'm kind of an asshole as a leader. Like, I'm not necessarily when we're having our franchise stuff, I'm kind of like the guy people can come to, and I'm more understanding. But overall, I'm kind of an asshole. And I have a Jordan mentality where everything's a competition. I hear a podcast, I think it sounds better than mine. My shit's got to get better. I read an article and it gets more hits than mine. I got to read another article to beat that. I find that. And I think the Lakers have that with this year with their team and their mentality. I think by Kawhi stringing them out all offseason and kind of behind
awesome.
the scenes pulling things. I think it's pissed off LeBron. I think it pissed off AD. I think it pissed off the entire organization. And they're like, you know what? Fuck you. We're coming at you. You can have your little regular season days off, but when we get to the playoffs, we're going to bury you and just show you why LA is the Lakers are the team in Los Angeles, and everything else is beneath them.
And the thing with the Lakers is I don't question LeBron at all. I mean, he's proven it. We know what he can do in the playoffs. It's Anthony Davis that really hasn't been exposed to it largely. I mean, he's been mostly one and done with New Orleans, and albeit he's on a way better team now, but it's still an unknown. You know, we still don't know what that looks like yet. And that's
Didn't he basically eliminate the Trailblazers a couple of years ago by himself in the first round of the playoffs?
Yeah, but
it was like AD and nobody. No, that's Dame Lillard, bro. That's a top 5 player in the league
and
right now.
McCollum.
Yeah, but
and DJ McCollum, exactly.
The Blazers are kind of a fraudulent team.
Oh, hell no. That's the team I'm more scared of than the Clippers from the Lakers. It's the Blazers.
The Blazers got like swept by the Warriors.
Blazers might not even make the playoffs.
Blazers have a losing record, bro.
Yeah. I mean, trust me. I live in
telling
Oakland. I'm the biggest Dame Lillard fan there is, but yeah, they're pretty fraudulent. You can't win with that backcourt.
I agree.
Well, you can't win with no front court. That's the problem.
Well, yeah. They got a couple nice front court players, but I mean, their backcourt's just too small. The thing that makes the Warriors unique is that you have Clay and Steph, where Steph's not that great at defense. Clay is the defensive stopper, so he can kind of take those point guard matchups. When you flip it with the Blazers, they're just too small. They can't play it defensively. You know, they're both great offensive players, but
Clay's
and then with the Warriors,
by today's standards, my bad, Jake.
Right.
Hey,
well, and then
Clay's one of the best two-way players there
absolutely.
is.
And then when they lose, they go get Kevin Durant. So I mean, that's a nice little that's a nice little perk that you can have.
And you know what? Like people shit on the Warriors, but if you look at the way
it's not their fault. That's LeBron's fault that Kevin Durant went there.
Team, they've mostly drafted internally and made a few key additions. If you look at Andre Iguodala and Kevin Durant. But I mean, that's just good front office play. I mean, it's not.
I don't care how you build your team. Yeah, I don't care how you build your team. Build them however. I said this after the Last Dance. The whole Durant going to the Warriors thing, that was possible because LeBron went to Miami the first time. So I don't care. I don't blame the Warriors for getting him. It's just, you know.
I mean, anybody's going to take a Kevin Durant if they can get him.
Absolutely.
See, I don't have a problem, but I don't have a problem. I never had a problem with Durant going to the Warriors or LeBron going to Miami. Because at the end of the day, look, owners make so much money. If a player wants to go play with it, if I have the opportunity and I'm doing it right, I'm living it every day. Right. I started a company with my best friend in the world. Mm-hmm. And it's like, if I was at ESPN and he was at Fox, we couldn't do this. It's like, you know what? Let's just do it ourselves and let's just make this happen and see what happens. And if we end up winning and everybody gets rich and we put out great content and the fans love it, perfect. I have no problem with it. They earn that right to become a free agent to do that and give Pat Riley kudos for taking a chance and really dropping everybody in the roster but Dwayne Wade to sign LeBron and Bosh and then bring in guys that want to be there. Give the Warriors credit for finding the financial flexibility and really getting lucky and having Steph sign a contract that's very friendly, as well as Clay.
No doubt.
To have that. Give Rob Pelinka credit to go out and get Anthony. And you had to pull the trigger. And there's some people I talked to that weren't sure whether or not that deal for Anthony Davis was a good deal for the Lakers because they felt like, look, you're giving up 3 or 4 really good young guys that could blossom. And look at the way New Orleans is playing. They were playing really good with Lonzo, with Ingram.
The franchises are just at different places. It was a good trade for both teams, honestly.
Exactly. It worked out well for everybody. So I don't have a problem with players moving. I don't have a problem with super teams because that's been the NBA. Growing up a Lakers fan, I've seen 10 titles in my lifetime. I literally, from Magic's first until the final, until Kobe's last, I've seen them titles. I grew up in that team. Those Celtic teams, they were nothing but all-stars. Those Rocket teams, when they won their 2 titles with the asterisks because Jordan wasn't playing, those teams is the same way. You know, those Bulls teams, I mean, without Rodman or Horace Grant, they don't win titles. Let's be real about that. So, and you had, you know, even those Lakers teams and the Spurs teams, and I want to go back to something Rue said. You talked about Milwaukee having a small window. Bro, I disagree. Look at the Spurs. The Spurs are one of the smallest NBA market and look at how long they've had sustained success. And they paid David Robinson, they paid Duncan, they were trying to pay Kawhi Leonard. So
they tried to pay Jason Kidd.
They did.
But they drafted those guys. Like
Right.
They're
one of the best draft and developed teams there is.
But Milwaukee is too. They drafted Giannis.
You have
they
to in a
drafted
small market.
Middleton.
Yeah.
So they went and traded for Eric Bledsoe, but in 2 years they can get out of that deal, and they almost got out of it. At the deadline this year. So
when you're a small market, you have to be creative and you have to be able to draft. So you're absolutely right what San Antonio has been able to do, but it also goes to like the leadership they've had. David Robinson's one of the great leaders. And then you look at Tim Duncan. That's a guy that you can build around. And I think as long as Giannis is still cool with staying in Milwaukee, he has the potential to be a great person to build around.
Well, it also helps when you're the Spurs and you win the lottery twice.
Right.
To get Duncan and Robinson. I mean, look at the Knicks. What if the Knicks had got Zion?
Someone's like losing Brett Favre and getting Aaron Rodgers, What kind of luck is that?
I am entitled to Hall of Fame quarterback play, damn it.
Or even the Colts. You look at the Colts losing Manning and getting Andrew Luck. He just retired, but that you have to be fortunate.
Yep. Yeah, there's definitely some luck involved.
Look, Jake is the only one that can relate to this. And I think he would agree with me, okay? And we're getting into some nice NFL talk now. Okay, so I know, like Chris, you were live with me on the draft show when Jordan Love was the pick, and you see my reaction. I wasn't shocked. In fact, our last mock, correct me if I'm wrong, I had Jordan Love going to the Packers, and I said and my reasoning was if Aaron Rodgers in 3 years is done. And let's say Jordan Love has 10 to 15 years of great quarterback play. That's 45 years of great quarterback play for one organization. That is unheard of in the NFL, period. Right. Point blank. I don't have a problem with that because you draft for an organization. You don't draft for one specific player.
Right.
So for people shitting on the Jordan Love pick, I don't understand it. I'm more mad. I could see the second and third round picks.
I think that's what it was. I think after you take Jordan Love, had you gotten like a receiver or a different weapon for Aaron Rodgers, you might not get that blowback from drafting Jordan Love in the first round. I think that's where fans probably, were disconnected.
Yeah, I just don't know who that. Receiver was just kind of picked clean every time the Packers were on the clock. Like when they picked Love, there wasn't a receiver worth taking in that spot.
Right.
And the same thing happened. I mean, granted, they took A.J. Dillon and Josiah DeGuara right after that, but there weren't any receivers really worthwhile picking in those spots either, unless there's somebody you guys really like that I don't know about. But the last receiver worthwhile at 62 would have been Denzel Mims, and he got picked 4 spots earlier. So
and that's the thing. Like I know they like Jefferson out of Florida, but the Rams traded up to take him because Green Bay wanted him.
Right.
But the Raiders got the guy I would have taken in the third round, Brian Edwards. Like I love his game. He's a guy I think would have fit in well there. And the Raiders, I think, got a steal in the third round with that pick. So
both their third round picks were phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oakland's Las Vegas, their only problem is going to be is that they're in the same division with the best quarterback in football. So that might
end up being West is always brutal. The AFC West is brutal.
It is brutal.
I wish we were in the AFC South.
Well, however you want to look at it.
Great.
Or the NFC East or the AFC East. I mean, really,
NFC East will be good next year if those guys stay healthy, though.
Yeah, but
Dallas and Philly might be 2 of the best teams in the conference.
Yeah, but if you're born with tits and a vagina, you'd be a woman. So
that's fair.
If you look at the Redskins, I saw their offensive line today, like the projected starting.
Oh my God, it's so bad,
man. Whoever's going to be that quarterback does not. Maybe that's why Cam doesn't want to sign there.
There'll be 3 of them. They'll play. They'll have signed Cam and pulling dudes out of retirement to play.
Hey, God, I hope Alex Smith don't play for them next year with that offense.
Hell no.
Alex Smith should never play again.
Hell no. I want Alex Smith to play again.
Hang him up, dog. You've done enough. You've gotten enough money. Call it quits.
Hell no.
I miss Alex Smith. He can come back to the Chiefs if he wants.
No,
Yeah, right.
he used to beat us
I think
every
they
year,
got a guy.
bro. Twice a year. We don't need to.
Alex Smith should take Tom Boyle's spot as Aaron Rodgers' backup.
Well, Jordan Love is the backup now, remember?
Oh, well, he's redshirting, bro. Like,
Right.
What I don't understand about the Jordan Love pick is Aaron Rodgers' contract. If he had, if they were able to get out of his contract after this year or even next year with minimal dead money, it makes a lot of sense. But the way his deal is, I think he's on the books heavy for at least the next 3 seasons.
$51 million dead hit if they trade him after this season.
Yeah. Ooh. So that means for the next 3, for 20, 21, and 22.
He's probably the quarterback for the next 2 seasons for sure. And then maybe a third one. The third one is like they could do it, but I don't think I can picture them paying. I don't remember the exact numbers. I'll have to ask it's Ken Ingalls. He's the cap expert for the Packers.
think that's the scary thing too, is when you look at that, if you have Jordan Love coming in that sense, coming in on his 3rd year of his contract, you're only really going to get 2 years of play out of. So the key to building a team, right, is to be able to draft that young quarterback where you're not paying him much, and then you build around him, and you get that little 5-year window. So if you're taking into that with Aaron Rodgers, that like Ruth said,
okay, I mean, but here's the thing, like I'll take it to Rodgers and Favre. Rodgers started after 3 years, backing up Brett Favre was his 4th year.
Joe?
No, it's not, because he got a deal like 6 or 8 games into it that extended him beyond that 5th year,
which is like the best move, best contract Ted Thompson ever gave out was that 2nd contract for Rodgers, because
he gambled and won. And I think that's the same thing. 3 years of sitting behind Rodgers is going to do Love a fantastic. It's going to do him more favors than anything. And then after that 3rd year, I think it drops on like $2 million for the cap hit or something like that. And at that point, you can afford to do that. And who knows? And what nobody wants to talk about or say is two things when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. And believe me, I hope it doesn't happen. But Aaron Rodgers, for the last 5 years, has been injured and missed time. And there's been no backup quarterback there. And the second thing is, and I think, Jake, I think we kind of we agree on this. Aaron Rodgers ain't the same Aaron Rodgers as 3 or 4 years ago. Nope. He's making a lot of decisions that Raider fans dislike about Derek Carr. Packer fans, as a fan, we have the same type of argument when it comes to Aaron Rodgers.
Maybe not quite the same, because he's got that built up 2 MVPs, a Super Bowl championship, one of the greatest.
What makes it worse?
The history. He's got,
but it makes it worse because he has the hardware.
Yeah, that's true. And I think that, the conversation that nobody wanted to have was, 2017 is when he broke his collarbone. He was playing at an MVP level before that. 2018, he broke his leg and had kind of a rough year. They fire the head coach, all that stuff happens. Last year, you chalk it up to like new offense, bad weapons. Now, they didn't really change the weapons around him, but the offense isn't new anymore. So it's like, is Aaron Rodgers not as good, or is it like the situation around him is poor? Probably some combination, but this year is really a year that, I mean, especially now when you draft a quarterback in the 1st round, anytime he throws an incomplete pass, that's going to be one of the questions that some dumbass is going to ask, I'm sure.
And I'm not like some Packer expert, but you do have to look at that decline too. Like, he always had one of the better receiving cores there for a long time. And really now you have Devontae Adams and, Jordy Nelson left, and there's really haven't filled in that gap. Randall Cobb left. So there's nobody outside.
Playing there.
Right. There's nobody outside of Devontae that's really known as that known player, that proven player. I think you guys have a couple younger receivers that, are developing.
Alan Lazard's okay, I guess. They got some younger guys that could like pop. Aaron Jones is their second best, or actually maybe even their best offensive player.
Right.
With Devontae. But
I think Devontae is, and then Aaron.
No team has drafted wide receivers better in the 2nd round than the Packers. I mean,
they just haven't done it in 6 years.
Right.
The last time they drafted a receiver in the Steelers round was Devontae. Pittsburgh's really good.
In the 2nd round.
I think go ahead, Ruse. I'll wait.
No, the Packers, they drafted Jordy Nelson. They got Devontae. They got Greg
Jennings.
Yeah. Cobb. Cobb. I don't know. Did they get Robert Brooks? I don't know where they got.
Robert Brooks was 2nd rounder. Yeah, I think he was a 2nd rounder.
Yeah, so they cleaned up in the
Derek Mays.
Jordy Nelson. I don't know.
So
if you said
I mean,
that or
but
not, sorry.
but the thing is too. I look at that team and I think after Justin Jefferson, and they couldn't pull up a trade to get ahead of the Vikings, and after Justin Jefferson got taken, they were kind of like, okay, the next best guy that we have that has a first-round grade that could be an impact player, maybe not this year, but going forward, is Jordan Love. Let's just go ahead and get our guy and not be screwed again.
Yeah, I kind of wish the Raiders would have been able to make that trade with the Packers, because I think it would have made so much sense for both teams. You have the Packers move up, take Justin Jefferson. The Raiders move back to what you guys had 30 or whatnot.
30.
Yeah, and take Damon Arnett at that point. I think that would have been much more digestible for everybody. You know,
But would he have been there? You think he would have been there at
Damon Arnett?
At 30?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know either.
We
I don't
won't
think
know.
so.
But you know, maybe he's not there. They must have liked him enough to, you know, obviously take him at 19. But I think that would have been. I would think that would have worked for both teams. You know.
And I don't think any other corner went between 19 and 32. But I mean, I don't like
they
either.
took
He wouldn't be either guy either.
The guy from Utah.
And the kid from
Oh,
TCU.
Glad.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. The Vikings.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Vikings like bad corners, so they wouldn't.
I didn't mind that big. Yeah, I didn't mind that.
I like Glad.
Speaking of bad corners, what's up with Kevin King?
Oh, he's fine. He's an average. He's an
You're
average
right.
player.
He's awful. He's not bad.
No. So here's what happens. I just had this conversation with somebody the other day. In the modern day analysis, what we have is like this guy's the GOAT and this guy's trash, and those are the only two things that we talk about.
There's no more gray area, yeah.
Right. So when someone is an average player like Kevin King, it's he sucks. Or
He's trash.
And he's from
Kevin
Oakland,
King.
so I won't say nothing bad.
The thing about Kevin King is he's hurt, but like last year he was healthy. He had 5 picks? I mean, and he had like there's like 3 others he should have had. I mean, the guy makes plays when he's healthy.
He'll give up a play, but he'll make one.
I actually really liked him coming out of college because he had that Richard Sherman body type, like really tall, long, you know, but
he still has those capabilities. I mean, he's just never going to be somebody that can cover. Like if you run a slant or an in-breaker on him, you'll beat him. Right. I mean, those are just.
He doesn't have the short area quickness.
Yeah.
No. So if he can, like if they're playing Seattle in the postseason, he'll lock horns with DK Metcalf and he'll be fine. Yeah. Like those are the kinds of receivers he needs to match up with.
But that's why they have Jair Alexander. 2/3 of the world is covered by one. The other third is covered by Jair Alexander.
Can we talk about some Raiders football now? Hell.
Yeah, let's talk Charles Woodson. That's Raiders football, but it's also the Packers. So,
hey, see, now when I look at it, I want to thank the Packers for saving Charles Woodson's career because he was on a downward spiral.
He was.
Had he not gone to Green Bay, he would have never.
He's talked about that too. How leaving to go to Green Bay of all places was perfect for him at the time.
I think that's the first Packers story I broke as a person in the media. Woodson going to the Packers.
Woodson, I remember that. That's when I learned your name. I was I think I was like 14.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember what year he signed in Green Bay, but yeah.
Oh,
5.
Oh, 5, yeah. Same year Reggie Bush came out,
And that was the year that Green Bay had hired Mike McCarthy. So, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so I was 14.
Yeah,
God, is that more heartbreaking than Marcus Allen in a Chiefs uniform? Oh. You know what I mean? Like in terms of all-time Raider heartbreaks.
That's like kicked in the nuts, bro. Marcus was my guy. I love Marcus Allen.
So, but you know the Marcus Allen Packer story, right?
He was going to sign with them. I know that.
No. There was a trade agreed upon.
For
Noble for Marcus Allen. Yeah. Ryan Noble, the linebacker, and Al Davis got cold feet at the last minute.
Thank God. Ryan Noble. Who the hell is that guy?
It probably wouldn't have helped because, those Packers teams in the 80s were terrible.
No. That was McCarthy's first year.
Huh?
No. It was Ron. It was Ron Wolf's first year as general manager.
Okay, so Mike Holmgren, not McCarthy.
Holmgren, my bad. Yeah,
I was going to say McCarthy. Marcus Allen's ass was long since retired by the time McCarthy. Coach.
Where did Joe go? There you go.
No, my bad. I had to make an adjustment. So but that was agreed upon. But Al Davis got cold feet at the last minute. They agreed, just like Tony Gonzalez was actually agreed upon to being a Packer. That's another one I reported that, and then Peterson, the GM of the Chiefs. I can't trade him. And then he raised it from a 4th round pick to a 3rd round pick. And Ted's like, I'm not going with the 3rd round. And that was that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a far year.
That was after they didn't trade for Randy Moss. They were really good that year, but they didn't have. I think Donald Lee was playing tight end, so that Packers team was really good. Yeah, we've got some in terms. The tight end position in Green Bay is a bit of a black hole. You have like not there. You go. There's your Raiders reference. Bubba
Franks,
Jermichael Finley. You have like a little sabbatical with him, and then in the '90s you have like Keith Jackson and Mark Chmura, and then other than that, it's been a whole lot of bad.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Glenn Kaufman. Dave Kaufman wasn't bad.
Okay.
Was it Dave Kaufman? No, I'm just threw some shit out.
I was going to say, you just threw a name out there. I'm convinced you made it up.
Yeah, no, Kaufman was like a dude in the 80s, like way before your time. But so Raider talk. Okay, so let's shift gears to the Raiders because I know we can all incorporate Green Bay and Raiders all in this because we're going to do that anyway. I had to bring in a backup. I had to bring in some backup tonight. Okay, thank God for Jake. So you see the Death Star now, and the Death Star is just about complete. You see that it is the hottest ticket in the NFL right now, according to like Tix.com or something like that. Do you guys think that the Death Star, Allegiant Stadium, is going to be completed before SoFi is done?
100%.
In LA?
That's not even a question.
Yeah.
If you look at SoFi right now, it looks like it's got a lot of work.
Bro, SoFi's not even close. They're gonna have to do something. That's not gonna work. It's not gonna be ready.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It's not even close to being ready.
Yeah. It could be a little bit misleading because if you look at like their stadium, right, they've got a lot more going on around the stadium. So it could look a little bit like that doesn't have to be complete for games to take place. But yeah, no, I looked at the stadium. Yeah, they have all their seats in, but
and their little circular the Oculus, that's badass. I'll get that.
Yeah, no, I got to give it like SoFi that video screen looks awesome. But yeah,
I think it's gonna be really
that's
cool.
why they're putting together all the aesthetic stuff. They're putting together signage outside already. The tray, with the natural grass on it, that's already done. Like, yeah, they're just putting the finishing touches to Allegiant. SoFi, on the other hand, looks like they're at least a few months away at best.
So what's the deal with the Legion's roof? Because
it's done.
It just has a cover over it right now.
Yeah, it's done.
It's going to be clear.
No, it's already done. No.
It's what you see is what it's going to be like.
Yeah, it's done.
I thought it was going to be clear.
If they made it clear, it would be like ants under a microscope. Like it would like burn you up. So it is how it's going to be right now.
So it's like if you're on the inside, when you look out, it's like clear.
You can see out, but seeing in is you're not going to
you see light, but it's not like see-through or anything.
Okay.
Are you sure?
Pretty positive, yeah.
Yeah, you can look out, but you won't be able to look in.
I've been following the construction stuff pretty.
So it's not a retractable.
Chris is hitting the refresh on the track the stadium on Raiders.com.
Yeah, I really am. It's so sick to me because, bro, I've been going to this stadium here since forever, and like while I love it, it's my dump. Like it's so crazy to see like my team get like this state of the art stadium.
It almost doesn't seem real.
It's so awesome.
Oh my God! Yeah, growing up as a Raider fan, this is like true stuff.
Right? You look at their PSL sales, 550 million. Like that didn't exist in Oakland. Like that's gonna be so good for the team. It's insane. So
conversely, what about the PSL for the Rams and the Chargers? How pathetic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think that's a surprise. It's
like real quick, we got to let I guess I got to be the solo dolo Packer fan again because Jake got to roll out on me, man. So
I
appreciate you.
Yeah. I have an 8-month-old, and she apparently is pissed. So that might be a throwback for you guys. But thanks for having me. It was fun. Maybe next time the Raiders will have beaten the Packers in my lifetime, but I won't count on it.
You'll be on again before. You'll be on again before that, brother. Thanks for coming on.
Not if you keep betting on the
Raiders. Thanks, fellas. It was a lot of fun. Have a good night.
All right, man.
Have a good night.
So, but do you guys think that the NFL is going to? I've been told that they've told people privately don't expect fans much before November, December, if at all. But I know today there was something that came out Chris, you probably would know where it's from, but that the NFL is going like business as usual. Like they expect fans to be at stadiums. Do you think it's going to happen that way?
Yeah, I think they're going to move forward with the idea that fans will be in there because this thing is changing day to day. But I think also they're smart enough to have contingency plans so that if, that's not the case, they have a workaround. I alluded to that Mark Cuban interview that I heard earlier, and he was talking about how it was like this really extravagant plan, but they're basically going to have so the people within your home, they'll call it a cluster, and they'll separate you within the stadium so that you can keep that social distance, and maybe you only fill it to half occupancy. But yeah, I think it's wait and see. There's not a game until August, so there's no rush to make that decision now.
I'm even okay with them playing with no fans in the preseason and then just have fans in September. You can't play football with no fans, dude. Like basketball, you can play, but football, so much of football is based on home field advantage.
Right.
Like if you don't have fans in the crowd, and then it's not going to be fair. What if you don't have fans for half the season, and then you play a majority of games at home, and then the rest of your season you're going to have a lot on the road? Then you're not going to have even games with. It's going to be an unfair advantage.
Yeah.
I don't know. You got to have.
You look at MMA. MMA to me is better without the fans.
Yeah, I thought so too. You could hear everything.
I love it. I love hearing the contact of the 2-ounce gloves and the constant chatter of the coaches and the shit talk between the fighters. That's better to me.
Right.
I don't need some dude in front of my screen waving his Bud Light can.
Right.
I don't give a shit about that. Yeah. But I also think at the same time, if you're in a mega stadium with 85,000 seats and it's empty, to me that's almost eerie in a way. You know what I mean? I don't know how that would translate to the screen. So what do they do?
Practice.
Right, exactly. So do you fabricate fan noise?
That's what they're going to do. If the fans aren't there, they're going to fabricate fan noise.
That's whack, man.
But teams already do it. Minnesota, New Orleans, they already do it. They do that on a regular. Yeah, they already do it.
I think if you look at it from a fan standpoint, right, watching on TV, it may be weird for us, but I think once the actual game starts for the players on the field, it'll be business as usual, really. With quarterbacks will obviously have an advantage because they'll be able to change the plays without any difficulty because you don't have that fan noise. But I think the players on the field, it's going to be status quo. Once the game gets going, your adrenaline gets going, you're just playing the game. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, I mean that, like Jeff said, it could be kind of cool to hear all of those hits and stuff with no fans. You're going to hear everything. You may hear audibles and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, Roger. Yeah. Imagine what you would hear on an NBA. Oh, yeah. So, bro. Yeah. First of all, you're watching a game on ABC, and then you hear an F-bomb that already happened.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
But listen, we already saw with ESPN, they don't care if NBA players say fuck. That happened during the last dance.
Thank God they did that.
Disclaimer on the bottom.
Oh, I loved it.
So did you guys watch the Tiger, Phil, Brady, and Peyton thing today, golf thing?
No.
Nah.
I did. It was
cool.
It was great. And the only thing that sucked about it is TNT didn't give a mature audience option because Brady was getting seriously pissed. He was missing shots. All of a sudden, he missed. He missed a shot. All of a sudden, it goes he's like, "Oh man!"
I heard.
And it's dead air for a minute because he's cursing.
Yeah.
And I wish I would have heard that. See, and I guess that's the former athlete in me, and that's the coach in me. I like being on the field. I like hearing that stuff because to me, I feel like it's more. A part of the game. It feels like you're more in tune with everything, and that's what you're used to.
The fans will too.
So I'm all for it, I don't have to worry about kids running around hearing shit. So
believe me, some parents don't worry about their kids running around regardless.
Yeah,
that's a whole different conversation.
What I wish they would do is they would switch for football games. They would switch the camera angle to the all 22 or the Madden view where you're looking behind the offense. Because to me, you could see the plays develop so much better. You could see more of the nuances of the game.
That's the advantage to the game. I like to sit higher up so I can see, like, my receiver was wide open, like Derek Carr missed him. Like, you wouldn't be able to see that on, the TV.
Well, that's going to be the benefit of this. You're going to be able to see like a lot more experimentation. You know what I mean? Like, remember the XFL, they were such like trendsetters in terms of like that camera that kind of like went over the field. Like,
talk about incorporating that into the NFL. That was at the owners meeting, the Skycam.
Yeah. So I think that'll be the benefit of maybe no fans, is that they can do a lot different things in terms of, actually viewing the field.
I would like to see them give an option for a mature audience if you're watching an NFL game.
Maybe
I don't want to hear
forward.
But I don't want to hear. But see, here's my issue: because the XFL was so, especially this year when they were on, accommodating to everybody, and you could hear like, okay, XY shallow cross, 32 blast on 2-on-2. Like you hear the play call and you're like, okay, now it's 32 blast. You know what the call is. I don't want fans to hear all that, because that's my issue. Hold on, wait. That's my issue with the all 22, and because fans and the general public, because they're good at Madden or they're good at college football, they think they can do the job of an NFL guy, and because they see the all 22, it's he missed this, and this, and and it's kind of ruined because everybody's an insider when they're really not. When some people don't know shit about football, they're just there.
Like Pro Football Focus, like PFF, and their bullshit grades that they
I'm not a big Pro Football Focus guy, but the guy above me is.
I hate Pro Football Focus.
Chris, I'm gonna let you go, Chris.
That's PFF is owned by Chris Collinsworth. That's why they've incorporated it into Sunday Night Football. So take it. And the thing is PFF doesn't know what the play is, what the design is. They don't know all of those things. So they're grading it off of their grade sheet. Like, it's hit or miss. But no, I mean, the issue though with, having that mature audience thing is that these games are for the most part programmed on national TV, right? CBS, Fox. Like, there's no alternative channel that you could flip to. So like the documentary, if you watch it on ESPN or whatever, it was a mature audience, and the ESPN2 wasn't. You don't really have that.
You get imaginative. Like Showtime, for example, is an affiliate of CBS, so you could tune in to a pay-per-view necessarily. Right. Like if you own the Showtime channel, you could watch the premium content made on Showtime. I mean, so there are options for that.
Yeah, I just think the NFL dominates because they have that national audience, right? When it comes to ratings. So then when you start adding pay-per-view and stuff, maybe you lose.
Well, there's Goodell's, Roger Goodell's NFL. I mean, he's the guy who, you won't even put out a new NFL blitz because it's too violent.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you wouldn't see that in today's NFL.
Did you see that EA got a 5-year extension on their video game rights, exclusive rights with the NFL? So there's no 2K. I mean, they signed something with 2K. Yeah. I don't know what they're going to do with it. But then it's like it's going to be Madden with the exclusive rights to the teams and the players for the next 5 years. So essentially a 7-year deal.
I can't play Madden anymore. I haven't played Madden in years. The game has just turned so lame.
2K was a better game. Actually, the best game was on the better game was on Dreamcast with Randy Moss on it.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
We're dating ourselves, more than we should.
I don't care. That was better than, I think it was 2K, as a matter of fact, NFL 2K, and that was phenomenal to me because it was just a way better gameplay overall. I mean, you had real offense, real playbooks, real offense, not this 32 toss, H halfback toss, halfback dive, halfback blast, like. And I will say this. I wish Madden would do a better job of competing with itself to put a better game out there. Because you
don't have to, though, when you monopolize it.
No, exactly.
So,
exactly.
I mean, that's why it's been the same game since, 2012. It doesn't matter.
That's why the better game was NCAA college football. Because
I mean, Listen, I would spend upwards of like 12 hours on my day off just recruiting on like college football and college basketball and be happy as shit. So, I mean, I want those games to come back just for that. I mean, kudos to the kids for being able to,
get paid. They need to
profit
get paid
off their likeness, which should have happened, already. But, the NCAA, they're fear mongers. You know what I mean? They only do things like that because, the G League came in and started offering big boy contracts to players. Things like that. So it's always reactionary from the NCAA.
Well, Cruz brings up a good point. What do you guys think about the NCAA and I know in a couple of days, in about a week or so, or less than a week, they're saying that football teams can get together and basketball teams for that matter too, and start practicing and start going through workouts.
Is that all states, or is that in only the states that are open?
All NCAA, they made it a blanket for every college. But now
how do they get around that with the state? Like if the state's closed down?
I think that's up to the state. Then I mean, for instance, like Michigan, their AD came out today and said that if we can't have, I don't think we should play the season.
Have you guys?
But everybody else in the Big Ten said bullshit. We want to play.
Yeah. Have you guys noticed that, like with this whole coronavirus thing? Everything was just kind of up in the air. Everyone was scared. They're thinking about extending it into summer. They were talking about, and then now in the last couple of weeks, things are turning really quickly. Like New York, I think Cuomo just announced that.
Oh yeah, New York's ready to go. Yeah, Wisconsin last week was fully open. They opened on Saturday. They're ready to go.
I think the government's realizing, hey, we do a whole lot more harm by keeping everybody on lockdown than if we just are careful.
Dude, money talks, bro. They don't want to go through a recession or depression. We
already are. We're already in one. But we don't even know what the ramifications.
There's no consumerism without consumers. So we'll see if there's going to be a spike. Once the country opens up again, if there's a big spike and we're all on lockdown again in 2 months.
I don't think people are going to go for another lockdown, bro.
You can go for it if you want, but I mean, it is what it is. We don't control a virus. It controls us. So let's not pretend we aren't seeing spikes again in China and all these sort of things. So we'll see what the virus dictates in a month or two.
So I have a close friend, someone I love and care about. And he's lost 2 cousins the last 2 weeks, or since he lost in the last month because of COVID-19. It's unfortunate because they were young, but the common factor of it all was they're from the South. Nevada, in particular, Las Vegas, has done a phenomenal job of curbing, of having the curb, and that's why I think Las Vegas is opening up on Tuesday. California's done a great job in terms of with the curb and whatnot. As Cruz said, Arizona opened up last week, and I think it gets to a point where it's almost like social immunization, and I think that's what the colleges are doing at this point. They're saying, look, the bottom line is, if socially everybody's okay, we're going to get through this. And out of 20,000 people, there's 183 deaths. We'll take that over 200 deaths and everybody staying in home. I think that's the way they're looking at it. That's not necessarily how. I won't ever talk about politics or how I view it, because this is not me. But I think at the end of the day, I think the colleges, I think the NCAA, I think the professional sports in general, globally, is at a point where they're scared to lose money, and they're not going to lose any more money.
Yeah,
baseball's not going to lose over $1 billion, or one person said $4.4 billion because they're going to miss out on the season. There's no way in hell those guys are going to do that.
And the thing that makes college interesting is that just because they're allowing them to practice or whatever, the schools for the most part are still closed, So I know, for example, the school I just graduated from, they've already said their fall semester is going to go all online again. They're not going back to campus. So it'll be interesting. That every state is so different, So it'll be interesting how they can make things, fair when you're talking about
these competitive advantages.
Right.
what it's going to come down to is how the NBA and the NFL move forward. Everybody's going to be really intently watching what happens with the bubble situation in Orlando. Can we keep, a group of people, I think that, what was the numbers, like 35? 35
per team. Yeah,
per
35
team.
personnel per team.
Yeah. So are they able to keep those people safe, and are they going to have the requisite testing? And what happens when someone does test positive?
Right.
Because all of a sudden, do you see a flare up? So I mean, that's what collegiate athletics is going to be doing. They're going to be intently watching the bubble and then the NFL, because I mean, obviously Joe said it, they're not going to be interested in losing all that money. So will all these precautions lead to sports being able to come back in some way, shape, or form?
And then college sports, more than professional, it's like all about the pageantry that goes on at the game, like, so
Tailgating.
right, you're going to lose, I would imagine, all of that, even if the game is played, you're going to lose all of that, pageantry that goes into college, sports, which would suck.
Chris, that leads me to this question to all three of you. So obviously you guys are Raiders fans. Would you rather, what game would you rather go to? A Raiders game, since you guys are Raiders fans, or your favorite college football team?
Raiders.
Raiders, yeah. Another question.
I mean, listen, I'm a lifetime UNLV football fan, and we've all dog, like, I've had press passes and not shown up for UNLV football for free. Like, so,
you don't have to worry about social distances, is what you said.
Man, like, yeah, I could be way in the back in the Dust Bowl and I'll be fine. But no, I mean, seriously though, I mean, I remember going in to watch a Broncos Raiders game, and this was like circa 2003, and it was nosebleed, it was way at the top. And, my family, they're Bronco fans. And my brother, he came with me, he's no longer with us anymore. And I just remember talking rampant amounts of shit. I was like, silver, black. I was like, you don't want to wear that orange and blue over by the nacho stand because you'll get stabbed. And it was just great ambiance. You know what I mean? Like, don't go to the bathroom by yourself in Oakland if you're wearing an opposing jersey.
I've been fortunate enough to go to like a lot of NFL stadiums, and the Raiders by far is the most unique. Just growing up in it, like it's just the parking lot. It's just so unique compared to a lot of the stadiums that I've been to, which makes it special. Like obviously it's not much of a stadium to look at, but like I said earlier, it's it's kind of my
to be in or go to the bathroom in.
Or I mean, like Jeff said, like I've seen some crazy shit happen in the bathroom. You know what I mean? Like that's always my number one rule. If you wear it, like it's fine to wear another jersey, but just do not go to the bathroom. Like, cause I've seen some pretty.
Hold it.
I got two bathrooms.
Like sword, like pulled out on a dude. Like this dude had like this machete that was like this big. I'm like,
and he got in the stadium with that shit.
Yeah, they were like, I'm not stopping machete guy. You go ahead.
He had a dagger. I got two bathroom stories for you guys.
Oh,
so
he got high in both of them.
No. I don't do drugs.
No, I'm talking about off the contact.
Yeah. No. This is even worse. So Seahawks, back when the Seahawks were in the AFC West.
Yeah.
We were in the parking lot and they had the porta potties outside.
Yeah.
So there was these two Seahawks fans, whatever, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever.
Boyfriend.
So the dude goes in the port. I guess they were talking smack or whatever, and they pissed somebody off. Anyway, the guy goes in the porta potty right before kickoff. So he goes in there. These dudes come around and they tip the thing over. They tip the porta potty. I mean, just think right before kickoff. I mean, that thing was like loaded.
Wretched. Yeah. Oh god.
He came out looking like a Smurf. I mean, he was just covered in just blue fluid and feces. I mean.
Did he go into the game? That's the question.
I don't know. I mean,
after that, you gotta go get a tetanus shot. Yeah, you gotta go. You got problems.
You need to get a tetanus shot, bro.
Yeah. Like I'm going to the ER.
It was horrible. So that was the first story. The second story, it was Raiders Chiefs. I went in the bathroom, and the way the urinals over there, it's like a giant. It's like a little.
It's a trough.
It's a trough.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So, there's no liner. I mean, there's no like separators. You just everyone.
If you can get in, you fit in.
Yeah. So this Chief fan goes in. So this Raider dude comes from behind him and pulls his pants down and like is pissing in between the guy's legs into the piss. So the guy can't move. He's like got his legs open. He's pissing, and there's another stream of piss underneath him. It's just like, what the hell?
That's so funny.
I mean, just shit like that, bro. It's like I hope that doesn't happen in the Legion, man. That's just
no. I don't think it will because they have provisions and stuff. But I had a Raider fan tell me,
so that's
yeah, they have stalls, and then the big flush is happening soon, according to Mick Akers of the Las Vegas Review Journal. But I had a Raider, a season ticket holder for a number of years, tell me the story about going into last season. That the season before, he went to the bathroom and there was a complete overflow of feces that you could in all stalls but one that you could not flush it, and somebody flushed and it was overran with crap everywhere on the floor. And he was like, what made it worse is everybody was smoking blunts in there, so not only you got shit going by your feet, you're high as fuck when you walk out.
Oh my god!
And I think like translate into Allegiant Stadium as a fan, really, the NFL has become more of a corporate event now more than ever, and I think that's kind of what worries me about I love everything about Allegiant Stadium. I love the fact that they're being able to get all this revenue, but as a fan, Las Vegas is obviously a destination. I really worry about that place being filled with opposing fans. And I would hate to see that.
I don't think that's going to be an issue.
We'll have to wait and see because the Raiders do not control the secondary market. Mark Davis made a point to saying he doesn't think he should control that secondary market. And, if people buy season tickets, it's up to them to do what they want with them. That's the only thing I worry about.
Listen, the Raiders are more of an invader. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I agree
about the Raiders showing up to their place. The unique thing about Las Vegas, and people don't think about this, is, I mean, we're within 3-4 hours driving distance of Raider hubs.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like Utah, even like Southern
Arizona.
Idaho.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Arizona, like especially Southern California.
Yeah.
Like LA is Raider Nation. Like,
right. But the only thing is now these ticket prices are through the roof on the secondary market. Are you pricing out,
Oh, they're up through the roof on the primary market.
Yeah. Those guys are still going to go.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the thing is,
as a fan, I hope so.
What I'm going to see, well, in my opinion, just the strip in general is just going to be a sea of silver and black on Sundays. Yeah. It's going to look like New Year's, but it's going to be silver and black.
Well, I think it's going to be a lot like the Golden Knights, how they embraced NHL. That Vegas embraced the Golden Knights.
They won too,
Okay, look. I'm going to say it publicly for the first time, and I've said it privately. I said it to Jeff. I think I've talked to Chris Abruz. I know I talked to you about it a couple of weeks ago. The Golden Knights did a great job of marketing and using Route 91 and the shooting there to their advantage to prey on the hearts of Las Vegans and get season ticket sales up. Because that night of Route 91 on October 30th, but the first was when the shooting happened.
Yeah.
That night, or maybe not on the first, there wasn't a packed house at the Fortress at T-Mobile. Tickets are going for $12, but they did a great job of marketing, retiring the 50. It was a 58. The number 58. They did a great job of Vegas strong, and we are Vegas born, and this, and credit them for it. And they had to go out and win games. They had to go, and they did. They went out and played for.
That's what's keeping the asses in the seats. I mean, listen,
but not this past year. No, the numbers for the first time since their inception 2 years ago. In year 3, there was more road people at certain games, more Red Wing fans and whatnot at T-Mobile than there were night fans. And there's times where T-Mobile wasn't full. And I think that, to me, is I don't use them as a barometer because they know they had – the Golden Knights know they had to do well before the Raiders got there because they weren't going to stand a chance against the Raiders. Raider Nation is going to fill up Allegiant Stadium. There's no doubt about it. I'm not worried about opposing teams coming in. Raider Nation's going to fill it up at least for 3 years just to see Allegiant Stadium.
Right.
And then after that, it's like, but by that time, they should be good.
I hope so. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the thing about the Raiders in general. They're an international brand. There's maybe only one other NFL franchise that can say that, like the Cowboys.
Mm.
So in terms of just that aspect alone, I mean, you're going to see, Raider fans flooding Vegas for decades.
And I think what's nice too is for the first time they'll have their own market, so they have Vegas to themselves. And obviously they're going to peel off LA, Arizona, Utah, like you said. But here in the Bay Area, you got to compete with a bunch of different teams. So that'll be kind of nice.
Well, I mean, and that's a credit to Mark Davis. I don't think Mark Davis gets enough credit. I mean,
I don't either.
He's kind of looked at like, he's got the bad fucking haircut. He looks a little goofy. He talks a little goofy. But then,
Mark's a real one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the minute that we were talking about Allegiant Stadium, it was hypothetical. And then 2 seconds later, it's real and it's being built. I mean, he brought Adelson to the table, and he finagled Adelson out of it. People who know Adelson, that
was a power move.
That's exactly what that was. That was a boss move.
Yeah. And big dick move, Mark.
Exactly, veiny. You saw you saw the bad haircut, but then you saw the veiny. But yeah, I mean, and that's the type of move that the Raiders really needed because they were like the redheaded stepchild in that Los Angeles stadium deal.
Yeah, Los Angeles stadium deal.
Well,
that was all a ruse, no pun intended, for them to get to Vegas, and then leave Oakland. If Oakland was going to give them a stadium.
And to have Al have put Las Vegas Raiders, his domain name that he bought in '99. So Vegas was always on the radar for the Raiders.
Right. And, since I'm now the newly graduated finance major, just the revenue streams that are going to be coming in it's insane. Like I said, they already, 550 for the PSLs. That's 550 million. They got 750 from the tax. That's almost paying off the stadium right there. That doesn't include naming rights and all the different sponsorships that they've never had while they've been here in Oakland.
And then the Rams have to ask the NFL for an additional $500
million.
Okay,
that whole situation. Vinny Bonsignor, my Beast brother, and now he's with the LA Review, Las Vegas Review Journal. Vinny did a good job of explaining what that is. That just cost overrides. Yeah. That just cost overrides. Okay. Yeah. That's all. Look, Stan Kroenke's the richest owner outside of Steve Ballmer
too.
Yeah, he's got Walmart money plus all his other developments in the 3 other sports franchises that he owns.
Yeah.
But the reality is, what he did is he made a move like, hey, look, I'll get an extra, up to 5. It's basically a credit line up to $500 million.
Right.
To pay for the overrides. Ruse.
So
I know you've been trying to jump in.
Here's the thing with Mark Davis that people need to realize is, when I don't want to go too much in depth on it because I'm going to do a pretty in-depth article on this pretty soon. But when Mark first took over, your boy Mike Silver threw him under the bus and called him Tommy Boy and this and that and was clowning him and everybody was making fun of him. But overnight, he quadrupled his net worth by going to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he got out of the most difficult state to do business in.
Yeah.
He goes to a state with no income tax. I think there's 4 or 5 states with no income tax.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee,
Texas,
Nevada,
Florida,
Texas, and Florida, right? So all those states already have teams, but he was able to do the unthinkable. Get the Raiders a new stadium and a state-of-the-art stadium.
And training facility. I mean,
everything's going to be first class.
The training facility on Twitter.
That thing is gorgeous.
Yeah, Mick Akers from the Review Journal. He's done a phenomenal job keeping up with the progress of that. That thing. I think you called it an oasis. It is. It's beautiful. Yeah.
That thing is it's all. I mean,
I think it's the hotel. That's right down the street.
Hotel, yeah. They're part of
the sponsorship.
Yeah, they're developing that whole St. Rose area. It's going to look real nice.
I mean, they're making big moves. I mean, this is not This ain't staying at the Oakland Hilton or whatever the hell that hotel.
So
rundown hotel.
Yeah, right out of the airport.
Yeah.
Keep this in the back of your heads, and you hear it here. I don't know if you heard it first, but you're hearing it right now. The Raiders eventually will have a development a lot like what the Rams are doing. They're just going to be. They want to get the stadium up and everything first. That whole entertainment district that they want. That's all going to be built around there. They're just slowly, methodically. They're playing chess against checkers right now.
And I don't live in Las Vegas, but if you look at like the drone footages and stuff, like that whole surrounding area is just warehouses. That's prime real estate that they can scoop up and develop into bars and, you know, clubs and all kinds of things. I mean,
those that are familiar with the area, that's the old industrial street that it's off of. And I mean, it's literally, you can bulldoze all that.
Yeah. Except for Crazy Horse and the Hustler, spot.
Listen, we'd all be sad if that happened.
What I'm curious to know is how many dead bodies did they pull out of the ground when they were doing that Raider facility?
Yeah, I don't know.
None. It's not like me.
We don't need like me to drain any more than already has. All our teams are going to be buried there. Oh Lord.
So it sounds like that whole area is gonna kind of be Summerlin Southeast, kind of, right?
No, it's Henderson. It's like Seven Hills Anthem, which is another in Southern Highlands. It's another very, very good area of Las Vegas.
Yeah, you got like Mountain's Edge out there,
Mountain's Edge, where the franchise studios are going to be located. By the way,
a shameless plug, but I'll take it
all day. Ruse, I know. Before the show, you had talking points, right? And I know that I asked to not see them because I wanted to be organic for me personally. But I know we didn't touch on all of them because I know we did a lot of NBA talk at the beginning of the show. So now that it's a Raider-centric feel, I know you still have them. So go ahead and fire them off, and let's just go ahead and do a reaction, like get the reaction from your talking points for Roots.
Well, we pretty much already discussed most of it. One thing we didn't discuss is the new Rooney rules. What do you guys think of that?
Oh, we should have brought Nishan on for this one. It just it feels desperate. Something the NFL should have done without the incentive. But you know what? It is what it is. I think it got tabled anyway. I don't even think that's coming to fruition. Yeah. But if you have to jump up, 6 spots, whatever, into the third round to bring on a minority, like that's pathetic.
Agreed.
I don't even know why it's called the Rooney Rule. I mean, obviously he came up with come on, that should be the Al Davis.
It should be the Al Davis. That's what I was about to say. Before I got started at Chris and you stole my thunder, I was going to say, first of all, it should be the Al Davis rule.
Yeah. No, I don't like it at all. Just because, take the Raiders, for example, they weren't going to fire Del Rio unless Gruden was going to take the job. So what is Mark Davis supposed to interview, 2 black candidates just because, he has to? It's like a little checklist. Or does he hire his guy? I think where you need to attack it is these guys need to be able to get opportunities within these organizations so that they can elevate. It just seems like, there's no coordinators and things of that nature that, should be given positions.
They did make that change. Now, like, position coaches can leave to be coordinators.
Right, and I agree with that,
100%.
That was a strong move. I don't think you should restrict anybody's ability to
ever
move up.
Right, and maybe what really needs to happen is you need more minorities in the ownership. It's just too many good old boys. So that's kind of where you need to attack it.
Yeah, forget being a head coach, okay? Because personally, I want to have the best man, regardless of race, color, or creed, lead my team. But I think it's bullshit that Eric Bieniemy doesn't have a job as a head coach.
Totally.
Okay, and you have a guy like Matt Nagy got the job for half a season. Eric Bieniemy's paid his fucking dues from being a running back coach with the Vikings and throughout the NFL
with the Bengals. He was like 30 years old. From Zach Taylor from
who's that dude? Yeah. Even Matt LaFleur for that matter. You know what I'm saying? There's some you scratch your head and what the hell are you doing?
Right.
Eric Bieniemy deserves to be a head coach. And I think a bigger question needs to be asked is why is it that a black head coach or Hispanic head coach, Ron Rivera excluded because he got a job right away, why is it that they get one opportunity to be a head coach somewhere, but let a guy flame out in Jacksonville and he gets another head coaching job somewhere? Like within 2 years.
The fraternity, right? I mean, you see it in the NBA all the time. They recycle the same coaches over and over.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jeff. And then you notice like Nick Nurse or that the guy for Coach Bud or whatever for Milwaukee.
Budenhauser, yeah.
Budenhauser, give those guys a chance and look what they're flourishing.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No. I mean, you're just building off my point, and that's the thing. Like, it almost seems like once you're in the fraternity, you're never out. You know what I mean? There's always going to be some other, opportunity down the line, and that's why I like that. The position coaches can move up to coordinator now because all of a sudden, those are kind of like the hottest priority coaches are the coordinator. You have a great season. And then all of a sudden you're a head coach. So, you'll see it happen organically that way.
Low key, I'm rooting for the Dolphins to have a great year because I want to see their head coach, Brian Flores, and their new general manager, who's an African-American man. I want to see them have a great year. Yeah. And I want to see Reggie get another opportunity to be a GM somewhere. The bottom line is there's not a lot of minorities getting opportunities, and I think it's because of the Good Old Boys Network.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Raiders this year. I mean, they get rid of their defensive line coach and hire Ron Marinelli. I mean, that could be debated, but it's kind of who you know. You're hiring your friends, and
my friend,
right? And just some guys don't get that opportunity, even no fault of their own. No fault of his own. He got fired for John Gruden's friend and Ron Marinelli.
Well, I think that Marinelli move has a little bit more.
I agree. There's more merit to that just because of his,
who he is and his pedigree and what he's done.
Well, also, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the whole Corey Littleton situation. Rod Marinelli's son-in-law, I think, is Joe Barry, which was Littleton's position coach with the Rams.
The Rams, yeah, turned down USC to be their defensive coordinator position too.
Yeah. So they're the thing about like it is a fraternity, like. That's why you rarely see coaches talk bad about each other or publicly bash each other because, at some point or the other, you either worked with that person before or you will work with them again. Mm-hmm. So they kind of – it's like a tribe, they take care of their own. So
right.
But at the same time, it's good that owners like Jerry Richardson are out of the league. Guys like Donald Sterling are out of the NBA.
But there's probably a lot more like that just don't voice it or you haven't heard about,
Exactly.
I think that there's probably a lot more of that. These people are so rich; they're so far removed from actual society.
Reality.
It makes it difficult to relate to, modern day people.
True. I mean, if you think about it, like who are the owners that are in the limelight? You see Jerry Jones, you see Kraft, you see Davis, but you don't see the majority of the other owners.
No, you don't.
And they like that. They like to stay in those dark recesses.
Casual NFL fan doesn't even know who the owner of their team is.
Yeah.
We don't have an owner from my team.
You're an owner of your team. You bought.
I am an owner of the team. I spent
bullshit stock that's worth nothing.
Yep, I got a G that's good for some freaking like nuts and bolts on a couple chairs in the furthest region of Lambeau Field. You know what I mean? But
the cup holder.
Well, for real. This week, Nashan Zaragoza of Franchise Sports Media, she has an article coming out. I want to say it's called The NFL's Glass Shield. And with that, it's about talking about the glass ceiling of the NFL and what's going on. There's some interesting numbers and statistics that she put in there. And I think she has some pictures in there as well. So it's a good article to be looking forward to this week when it comes to this, because this is a topic, and quite frankly, how did the cat from Baylor, even though Matt Rule has done a great job, at Temple and Baylor, but there's other coaches. I mean, why hasn't anybody reached out to Shaw at Stanford? I mean, I know he says no.
I don't think he would leave. Yeah, I don't think he would leave.
But that doesn't hurt to ask, and maybe them put it out there that he got asked. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like at some point, and general managers, there needs to be more minority general managers, not just African American, but Latinos as well. So, I mean, for me, that's something that I would like to see more, and quite frankly, ownership. You know, when you know, that's why in a way I'm always going to root for anything Derek Jeter does, being that he's the owner of the Miami Marlins. I want to see the Marlins do well because of Derek.
And that would have been cool when the Panthers were for sale. You know that group that I think it was like Diddy and Steph Curry, and like it would have been kind of cool to see someone like that be able to pierce that little club.
I don't want Diddy in the NFL. No.
Neither do I. He could be a minority owner.
That's kind of been it. Vegas is, Shaquille O'Neal brought it up the other day. And he was talking about how, there's going to be some teams in the NBA that are for sale. And, Vegas is going to be one of those stops potentially.
Yeah, he's doing it. Shaq's going to get a team and move a team to Vegas.
100%.
Well, and that would be amazing to have Shaq in an ownership position. He's one of those people that has really excelled, post their NBA career.
Well, he does have minority ownership in the Kings.
That's right. But I mean, in order to get a bigger stake, move him to a city like Las Vegas, like Shaq would be one of those people that would bring a lot of excitement to the city.
I think within 5 years, 100% Vegas will have an NBA team. 100%.
Well, it's funny, like what they talk about, Mexico City is up there in terms of getting a franchise. And to me, obviously you have to give the Sonics back to Seattle. To me, that's first. That's without question. But, to hear that Vegas is potentially behind Mexico City, that's kind of flabbergasting to me.
What I heard, and I heard this about a year and a half ago, was the two expansion teams would be Seattle first and Mexico City.
Yep,
and then the Pelicans would move to Vegas and the Timberwolves would move to the Eastern Conference with the Grizzlies and with the Grizzlies as well. Because they like that market. They like that market.
Yeah, exactly.
That's such a long flight.
Yeah.
But you know what? So is LA to New York.
No, bro. If you're playing in New York and you got to fly to Mexico City, that's like an 8-hour flight.
Yeah, but you're not going to make. You're going to go from New York to Phoenix to LA, then to Mexico, and then probably to Texas, and then back to New York. It's no different than It's no different than the Lakers playing the Grammy trip and they're in the East Coast for 14 or 17 days.
But what if you're in Mexico City? You're based out of Mexico City, and you got to travel 4 hours minimum to each city.
Bro, that's part of it. The NBA has their reasons for it, but that's what bro. I've had high-ranking NBA people tell me that
as a player, you probably wouldn't want to play.
Well, listen, no. I mean, you're not going to want to move your family down to Mexico City.
Quality is really bad.
Was this pre-COVID or after? Or
oh no, it's all pre-COVID, bro. It's all pre-COVID.
So I think that's going to have a significant impact on it too.
That may, but honestly, but the reality is they're saying that they feel as if that Seattle is going to get the next expansion team no matter what, and they deserve it. The Sonics should never have.
They bring those uniforms back too.
Oh
yeah, not the ones with the maroon in them or that red.
Yeah, I like the one with the Space Needle.
Yeah, like the
Kemp one where he dunked on the Warriors.
Yeah, like those 80s Sonics uniforms.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, bring those back. And then but the Pelicans are a team to keep them. I keep hearing the Pelicans in Las Vegas.
I've heard
that's
that.
what I keep.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to think how badly they've done in that market. They're always in the, literally like the lowest in terms of ticket sales and viewership.
What about a team like Oklahoma City? I can't imagine that their market is very good.
Clay, whatever his name is.
Fans in the
they're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere.
Crazy. But yeah, New Orleans. I mean, I could definitely see them come. I heard the Nuggets were being talked about a little bit, but I think if anybody was going to up and move, it would be the Pelicans.
Yeah, I think Pelicans to Vegas. I've heard that's part of the whole Zion thing. Why the lottery happened.
What the hell did they name their team the Pelicans? I mean, they couldn't think of any other mascot.
Well, they were the Hornets, and then they moved down. And then they're like, well, they were the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah.
So I guess Pelicans.
Still, you came with the Pelicans?
Well, I mean, is that any worse than the Bobcats? Like, come on.
Or the Jazz in Utah? There ain't no fucking Jazz in Utah. You got to go to a state liquor store to buy liquor in Utah. Are you kidding me? Ain't no Jazz.
Yeah, for real.
Like, so I mean, come on. Like,
it's like the Lakers in LA.
Hey,
they're from Minneapolis.
I was gonna say, we're talking about bad names. There's no lake near Los Angeles.
Yeah, there is. It's called like Lake Tejon. It's up the 5 freeway right before Magic Mountain. So you got Prado. You got
Well, the Lakers because they came from Minneapolis.
Right. I'm making my argument for him though. but I mean, no, but like they won't be the Pelicans, the Las Vegas Pelicans.
No, they'll come up with something like, well, especially if they don't go to Mexico City, it'll be branded, that Southwest, part of the United States. They'll call them like the Diablos or something.
They'll be the Las Vegas Zions.
Yeah, for real.
They should be called the Las Vegas Gamblers, bro. Or Las Vegas Entertainers.
I don't know about that.
No.
You got to come with something stronger than that.
Yeah.
It's like calling them the Rats because of the Rat Packers here. Like,
Okay. Hey, I got it. The Las Vegas Outlaws.
I could do that.
Listen, there was a like semi-professional football team called the Outlaws, right?
That's semi. That's semi. We're talking NBA, bro.
No, that was USFL team. That was Oklahoma.
I thought the USFL was like the Locomotives or some shit. They were the Locos. Another atrocious name. That's why I'm so glad Las Vegas is out of like that AAA, like me doing the Sting and the Gladiators, and oh my God, there's the Silver Bandits.
Hey, but I don't know. Them logos the teams are having out there are hella questionable. At least we have good old Mike Dancy doing our logos. Yep. Big Mike Dancy's that brings the fire.
That's right.
I was using this time to throw shout outs to our graphic designer.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see his UNLV logo that we discussed.
Oh, the
with the visor and the reflection.
Oh yeah. So for the UNLV show that we have coming out for football, it's called Rebel Vision. The concept for the design, the logo is freaking nuts. Ruse and we were on a Zoom call on Friday, was it? With Mike?
Saturday.
No, it was Friday. He was a part of the early group. And we did, and that's after you got off, Jeff, and we were literally going through like different logo designs and it's like concepts. And for the Rebel Vision show, it is crazy. Like I had one idea, then Mike goes, well, I could do this. And Aruz goes, nah, but you add this color and add this reflection. We were like, oh shit, this is it.
I can't wait to see that. I think it's going to be hot.
Oh yeah. A couple of weeks, he should have it done. Like he could have it done sooner.
Speaking of the uniforms, man, like I'm glad the Raiders just stay awesome. And we don't have to deal with the rebrand every 3 to 4 years, looking like something like out of Pop Warner.
So who wrote the article for us? Was it it was Isaiah, right?
Isaiah that wrote the he gave us top of day, like their new stuff. They went a little
Cleveland,
bit more
New England.
Tampa went back towards like how they looked like when they were winning the Super Bowl under Gruden.
Yeah, that shit's whack. That shit's whack, bro. They should have gone back to the freaking creamsicles, bro. Like that. Oh. Hell yeah.
No.
That's
talking about the Browns earlier in the show. Like that's worse.
No way, bro. Those creamsicle uniforms are freaking classic, bro. That the pirate with the
that is synonymous with like 0-win seasons. That's what
bullshit.
That's synonymous with losing and like
that's synonymous with like all-time low.
And like Chris, help me out here, Chris. Help me out here.
No,
Chris.
I heard something good. Somebody said the Raiders don't change uniforms; they just change locations. So I thought that was pretty good. It hit a little deep.
Well, it's like I tweeted on Twitter. Is like all these other teams, they can trick their fans into buying new jerseys and color schemes and all kinds of other, tricks and all kinds of nonsense to make people buy new gear. But silver and black, man, that's it.
No, look, it's like the Rolling Stones. They just tore a lot. We still got Mick, the silver and black at the front, and we just tore around Las Vegas, Oakland, LA. We might see Oakland again in 25 years. We don't know. Chris, we might come see you again.
Yeah, I still kind of want to see the all blacks. I'll be honest.
Like,
with
Yeah.
the
I want to see the
that'd be tight.
AFL throwbacks with the reflective numbers. Those were hard. Yeah.
I like that too.
Okay, so out of all the uniforms, like I'm just gonna tell you, I thought the Chargers have the best looking uniforms.
Yeah.
I
Followed
just wish
by,
they wouldn't have put that number on the helmet.
Yeah,
I like that because
That thing is
I like that. That's hella old school. That's why I like that. I like with the Browns going back to their uniforms, like they're without the Cleveland and all the extra stuff. That look hella.
Can we agree the worst was Atlanta? They looked bad.
Yeah, they got great colors to work with too. Like,
Bro, I'm gonna tell you when it comes to Atlanta, I wanted the 80s uniforms,
red
with the red helmets, and the red jerseys and the white, and then even to have the black jersey as your like alternate.
Right.
You know, but they, for
great face mask. That was
no, they had the black face, the red helmet with the black face masks. That was hard. That was hard.
Better.
No, I like the black ones,
but still, it's better than what they've had.
And then I actually low key, I kind of like the Rams. I'm gonna tell you why. There's things about it I dislike, but there's a few things about they went back to the original color. I mean, they probably should have gone blue and white, but I see why they went with the gold. That's more of an iconic color scheme for them. But overall, I like the fact that they added a newer twist, a modern twist to an old uniform. And they try to modernize it a little bit. I give them credit for that.
The numbers are brutal, though.
They are.
Yeah.
Autumn wind, fucking Gus.
Like if you've seen Aaron Donald's like 99, it looks so bad.
Yeah,
hey, but Jalen Ramsey's look clean, bro.
Yeah.
And then the Ram is like segmented. The horn.
Yeah. It's like
that's for the two cities they played in, LA and St. Louis. Come on.
Oh, bro.
Third eye, son.
That is terrible.
Man.
I like my favorite uniforms of the Chargers. I like the all white ones.
White on white's clean.
I like the all royal blue ones, and I like the white jerseys with the yellow pants. I think those.
I kind of like the Chargers, like when they go with like that navy blue look, like when they back when they were in the Super Bowl against the 49ers with Junior Seau, like that. I always kind of like that look. The darker blue. I kind of like that.
I thought those were hella whack. I like the powder blue, bro.
Yeah,
this powder blues is clean.
Yeah, I don't know. Powder blue and yellow. I've never been able. I mean, maybe it's because I've thought the Rams were inferior for so long.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who has one of the worst uniforms, the Chiefs. That's the boringest, ugliest mustard, ketchup, and mayo, bro.
Yeah.
And they're going to be throwing footballs all over our faces for a long time.
It's a damn shame.
Weapons too.
It is.
Let me ask you this. Speaking of Raiders, what do you guys think is going to make, of all the rookies, who's going to make the biggest impact the quickest? That's what I want to know from you guys.
I'll go last.
Okay. I think Bowden. Just because he's so multifaceted, like being able to play quarterback, receiver, running back, and he put up huge stats like in every single position. I mean, I know this is like an outlandish statement and it's looking down the line a little bit, but I kind of feel like he could be our version of Marshall Faulk.
I think I'm gonna go with Meek Robertson. I think he can come. I think he can come and play right away. I think honestly, if LaMarcus Joyner plays the way that he played last year, I'm sliding a Meek right in there. I just think he has that dog mentality, and I don't know if you guys have seen his training videos.
Crazy.
This dude can change direction like in a blink of a. It's insane. I've never seen anything like it. So I'm really excited about him. So I'm looking forward to seeing him.
Yeah, he's such a ball hawk too.
Yeah.
For the sake of this, and I agree with Chris, but for the sake of just disagreeing with Chris and giving somebody else, as much as I want to say Brian Edwards, I think he's going to have a huge year.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Ruggs, and I'm going to tell you why. Gruden's going to find ways to get him in space and get creative with him getting the ball. And that 4.2 speed is going to cause opposing defenses trouble because you cannot teach it. Right. You cannot teach scheming against it. You have to either pick your poison. Either you're going to have Josh Jacobs beat you on the ground and play that safety high, or you're going to bring him down. You're going to get your ass burned deep and let Carr pick you apart with Ruggs, with Waller, with Williams, with Edwards, with Renfro. Like there are a bunch of weapons now there.
So many.
that I think it's adds so much, and we're voting for that matter too. You know, I don't want to forget about him.
It was almost an embarrassment of riches because if you think about it, I mean, you look at Edwards on tape, and he's making these like great circus catches, and he's using his big. I mean, it's like a lot of brute physicality, and
I mean, bully, bro.
Oh, he is. I mean, think about him just feasting on smaller defensive backs in the red zone. We haven't had something like that in a long time.
Yeah, like Jerry Porter. So Napoleon Kaufman tweeted out after the draft. He said, Raider Nation about Edwards, about how he thinks he's the next Anquan Bolden or similar style of guy. Very physical, you know, just a brutish guy.
I think he's faster.
Yeah, he's a more dynamic athlete. But my pick, I think I'm with Jeff. I think Bowden's going to come in right off the jump, and I think he's gonna provide some electricity, man. Like he can return punts, he can return kickoffs. They're gonna find ways to get him the ball in space. They're gonna use him in the backfield with. I mean, Gruden's already named him the Joker. Like he's signing. I don't know if you guys saw that they were doing a bunch of autograph signings, and he's signing helmets as like and then he's writing the Joker on there.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
And I don't know any of these guys personally, but being in Vegas, the only Bowden and Arnett are the only two guys that I kind of am a little bit worried if I'm looking at their social media.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm like, oh, I hope these guys like stay on the narrow path because.
Okay, Chris, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you out, Chris. I'm gonna help you out.
Okay, here comes Gruden.
Hold on. No. Hold on. I'm gonna talk. Cannot ruse. I want to. Hold on. I'm gonna talk to Raider Nation. I'm gonna talk to him real quick. Okay. All right, Bowden and Arnett. If you want to come to Vegas, since you're coming to Vegas, I got you. I'll make sure you don't get in trouble, and I'll make sure you're taken care of at all the hot spots in Vegas. All right. Just don't do no stupid shit. And we won't report it. But you come through, we got you. I got you personally. You have my personal word. I'll take care of you in Vegas. How's that? All right. How's that, guys?
I hope so.
Joe knows.
Those are the two guys that I'm looking at their social media, and those are the only ones I kind of worry about a little bit.
Listen, if I survive Las Vegas, growing up in Las Vegas, they'll be fine.
Yeah, but they're just gonna have a shit ton of money now.
Yeah,
that's okay. Hey,
that probably helped me not die was being poor.
I will be even better with money,
and I will make sure they don't spend any of their money. Like I'm telling you, I got you.
To your house, you know.
See, look, we got Joe, who's the chaperone. We got Chris, who's going to tell them how to manage their money.
Yeah,
Squeeze will be with me too. So Squeeze got access to things too.
And then you got Jeff, who's going to be like, no, don't do this, don't do that.
Oh, I'm a bad influence. I encourage shit.
Joe, dude, no, don't bring Jeff around there because Jeff will be there like, hey, Joe, you don't need another beer.
No, Jeff, you could be the fall guy.
I'll be like, I'll tell Jeff, I don't need another drink. He's like, yes, you do. Have another drink. No. Yes, you do. You need get about 4 more.
Listen, I've been drinking 5.5 years, bro. Like, I have to live vicariously through somebody.
Be the Chris Carter fall guy.
That's the best part about it. So, Ruse, you got anything else on the Ruse list?
No, that's pretty much it. I mean, we probably gonna have another show coming up maybe this week. So
hopefully on Wednesday we got.
Yeah. So my big thing is, obviously I can't get off the show and go watch Last Dance. So if you guys want this to be, your withdrawal segment every Sunday at 6, I don't mind doing that either.
So okay, before we close, what's everyone's plans for tomorrow for Memorial Day? You guys doing anything? Jeff?
Oh God. So I'll probably end up editing because I got to get that done.
Work.
So yeah,
franchise work.
I'm gonna be real busy, and then I gotta get on my writers about bowling out their proper nouns and names. All of you.
Don't include me in there.
No, you actually listen.
Yeah, you only got to tell me once.
Yeah, I got to tell people like Jerron 17 times.
I don't know nothing about that.
So, okay, no, tomorrow I'm gonna be chilling, bro. Like I'm gonna grill out at the crib.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna barbecue, to be honest.
Chris,
Have some brew.
I got nothing. I will be chilling now.
Yeah,
Y'all two should link up, man.
I know.
I'm saying.
Not that
Pour
far
one
away.
out for the fallen. That's about it.
Yeah, I might have to take Chris for a little ride one of these days.
Bro, I'm you know.
He might get scared. He might crap his pants though.
Why?
If you're riding, look at Chris, just don't ride a bike going like on anywhere in the Bay Area where Rue's coming around you because he's gonna make you fall off.
Why, you splitting traffic and stuff?
No. Obnoxious.
So go ahead, Ruse.
Today is actually TQ's birthday.
I was gonna talk about that.
Okay.
Shout out to Squeeze on his birthday.
And then tomorrow is my dad's birthday. He's gonna
happy birthday, Papa Ruse.
68 years old, man. I can't believe it. So
he's still turning up.
Still.
So today is Squeeze's birthday. It is unlike any other Memorial Day. This 24th is a different type of day because normally with TQ we have a big party and it's like a blowout weekend. In fact, we normally leave the country for about a week and we go somewhere where there's water and we just chill out and just kind of decompress for a week. And Squeeze for like 3 months has not gone outside. He's gone outside, but he's really practiced social distancing to the fullest. And today's the first time in that time that he's seen his mom and his sister and his niece, who he's very close to. And Trisha Lacoste, the third member of our brain trust with Franchise Sports Media, she asked me after the draft and there's a bunch of other people to send a message to him, and she edited it, and she's phenomenal. If you guys need video work done or photo work done, Trisha Lacoste is the person to call. Like, no bullshit. Like, she's the best. And it ended up being 45 minutes between all the people that was in Squeeze's life, from family, friends, people like me that's been 10 toes down for his entire life, or 94 or whatever. And it ended up being 45 minutes. And if you follow him on Instagram or whatever, you see his reaction as he talks about it. And I haven't seen him that happy. I actually FaceTimed him today, and I haven't seen Squeeze as happy. So happy birthday, brother. I love you. Nice. The franchise, I wouldn't have done this with anybody else. And he's just for him to and what we have in store and his plans that he has that the franchise members, most of them know, and for to be the type of person that he is, to be involved in this is truly special. And I love him to death. That's my brother. I know he thinks the world of you guys. So on behalf of everybody from the Franchise Squeeze, we love and appreciate you. But more importantly, brother, thank you for everything and happy 44th birthday.
Nice.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Well, fellas, that's it for tonight. That's WWJD. I want to thank everybody for joining us. I want to thank Jacob Westenhoff to jumping in. Jake's going to be on more, bro.
Yeah. Stirring the pot.
Yeah. I like it. He needs to push up on his 80s and 90s NBA. But yeah. Jake, if you like football and want to know about other teams, Jay has a really good podcast. It's called Pulse of the Pack, and check that out. And you never really maybe seeing more stuff from Jake, franchise related, coming soon. Nice. Looking forward to it.
So we'll see what we can do with that. But on behalf of Chris, Jeff, and Ruse, I want to thank you guys for coming. We want to thank everybody for joining us. It was a long podcast today. It was supposed to be an hour, but we knew that wasn't going to happen. We knew that we said that in the pre-show, like, hey, this shit ain't going to last an hour. It's going to be a couple hours. So on behalf of everybody, we want to thank you guys for joining us. Please subscribe to all of our stuff on social media. It's all at the Franchise LV on YouTube, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Follow Jeff Waterlove. Follow Ruse. Chris, if he lets people follow him at some point, because he's
protect that security clearance.
Chris is too bougie.
Nobody come around me.
Practicing social media distancing.
And I want to thank everybody from Sean to Autumn Wind to Cruz to the best chiropractor in Las Vegas, Jacob Danielson. I want to thank everybody.
Jeff Sykes.
Yeah, Jeff Sykes.
Love.
Big Syke.
We're gonna get him to call in one of these days.
Yeah, at some point. Want to thank all you guys for joining us tonight on WWJD podcast. Be on the lookout for more podcasts coming soon right here on franchisesportsmedia.com. Be safe. And, hey, all the vets out there, thank you. It's Memorial Day. Appreciate you.
Yep, exactly. Thanks, guys.